Bro, people are here.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're coming in.
Pause.
Can you guys do me a favor? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat.
And if it's too loud,
Yeah. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Did I like not allow people to chat or something?
you know.
Is that like an actual setting?
Raw, you probably
Allow
is the
people
chat set?
allow people to unmute themselves. Oh no.
Maybe play with the chat settings. I don't know if it's chat settings.
Everyone.
What's them three dots on the right? Oh, everyone. Attendees can chat.
All right, cool. See if you guys can chat. See if you can talk now. There we go.
Yeah, there
Perfect.
we go.
Oof.
Loud and clear. I can hear you.
Oof. About to say I'm gonna have a lot of refunds. Okay, 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 okay.
This is sick.
It's cool, innit?
From Louisiana.
It's cool, innit? Yeah, where's everybody from?
Canada. Who's from Canada?
Is your cameras on? I barely know how to work this thing.
Is our cameras on? I think so.
No, our camera is on.
No, there's
Oh,
Amsterdam, Atlanta, Toronto, Canada. Shout out Toronto, Canada.
Los Angeles, the city of lost angels.
From Australia.
Australia, Wyoming. I feel like
Bro,
I've heard of that place.
is it not like midnight in Australia, right?
Namibia, California, Philippines, kamusta ka na? Albanian British, DMV, Maryland.
Wow.
It's midnight. You were right. Midnight in Australia. Q&A. All right, cool, guys. One thing that I will say as well, if you can put your questions in the Q&A as I'm talking, that would be muy bueno. It'll be very, very good. Very, very easy. Can somebody put like a test question in the Q&A section? Just so we know that like it works and shit.
What happens if you press answer live
Mm. Oh, I don't know if that shows up as something.
when you get admit you foiled up? You about to
When are
see.
you going to admit you order from an anonymous attendee? You should be embarrassed of yourself.
Nero's eyes up.
What color are Nero's eyes? Is it true Ken Carson is better than Jay-Z? Man said Ken Carson. You know what that Ken Carson is? It's all that black emo music. You ever heard it? How to maintain it. All right, cool. So that works. That's perfect. So between that and the chat, everything should be muy bueno. There's no issues. This is being recorded, correct? Yeah, perfect. You know them ones you don't want to do it for 3 hours and then we find out it wasn't recorded. Pain, pain, pain. All right, cool. I'm just gonna go to the toilet real quick. You lot can chat to Adrian. Should I give you the mic?
Oh, let's you want to be. It's midnight in Australia. Told you. You know what? Shout out Kim Rowland.
Kelly Rowland.
Relax, bro. Relax, bro. I've been so hyped for this since I registered. How long were tickets out? You know, I thought you went on there with no glasses. Oh my god! Oh my chill, bro. In October, so you guys had to be waiting for a whole month. Damn. Hey, Kim. Now this is so cool. 41 people. I wonder if everyone will show up. Chose this over a PS5. I rate it. I rate it. I sold my PS5 2 years ago just to lock in. Don't stress over a PS5, bro. That midnight in Australia is crazy. Who keeps raising their hands, bro? Chill. Will we have access to the recordings? Yes, you will all have access. It's being recorded as we speak. 8 a.m. in Atlanta. Good morning. Good morning to everyone in Atlanta. Now, you know what it is? Being in midnight, I can't do it. Like, I'm just, as soon as it hits 12 a.m., the chances of me staying awake for another hour is so limited no matter what I'm doing. 2 a.m. in Amsterdam. You know what, guys? Who's that? Angelino? Can't even see the full name. You know it's
with that killer, man.
you know it's 2 a.m. in Amsterdam, bro.
It's not
Appreciate
2.
you.
It's not 2 a.m. in Amsterdam. Are you crazy?
That's what they're saying. But they're lying to me.
It's definitely not 2 a.m. in Amsterdam.
They're lying to me.
They're lying to you. It's not 2 a.m. in Amsterdam.
Tell that to Angel.
Long time with that killer, man.
5 a.m. in California. I can believe that.
What time is it?
5 a.m. in California.
No.
Time now.
Yeah.
1.
Cool. How many people are in?
52.
We'll give it 5 minutes and then we're just gonna start.
6 a.m. in Arizona. 2 p.m. in Amsterdam.
Told you.
Maybe I was misled. What's this?
You should get in with care about your health, man.
Nigga got me drinking a vegan smoothie. You see this shit?
It's not vegan. It's not vegan per se.
Bro,
It's just vegetables, isn't it?
it's a vegan smoothie. You can have the mic.
You don't want to say bye to your people?
I'm still here.
Say less. It's not gonna die, is it? How much batteries it got?
I hope not. Nah, you good. You got like 90%.
Come on.
I got another one with battery in it.
Placement's all right, innit?
Yeah. Huh?
Hold on.
Thank you for putting on this class. Good morning from Texas. This is not vegan, it's detoxing your green guts.
Mm-hmm. Tell him. Long time we not killer, man. So we circle the ends like the letter, man. Waitrose. Like £4 a bottle. I feel enlightened. You don't feel enlightened drinking it?
Doesn't taste too bad, actually.
You look more spiritual already.
It tastes like it's meant to be good for you, but it don't taste too bad.
No sugar. Raw.
No sugar.
Raw.
Nah, there's sugar in here still.
No sugar, bro.
Where it says right here.
No, it doesn't.
Where it does, bro.
Say mums.
8 grams.
You're trying shit.
20 in the whole bottle.
It literally says no added sugar. Literally right there.
Where does it say that?
On the right.
They're camping, bro. Look.
So why would they put no sugar and then put sugar? I think it's natural sugars.
Okay. Decent drinks.
Long time we not killer, man.
Can you and AJ keep the tomfoolery down to a minimum today?
Okay, I'll try my best. And yeah, the recording will be saved. The recording will not only be saved, it'll be sent to you. I didn't know that we do tomfoolery, to be honest.
How do you do that?
What do you mean flip the video?
Like it's backwards.
Can you guys see the screen fine, or is it coming up backwards for you guys? Screen is fine. So you see what it says, right? Like it's not backwards.
You can read what's on the screen.
Like you can read what's on the screen. What does it say on the screen?
Yeah, on the
yeah.
whiteboard, what does it say?
All right, cool. Yeah, they can see it.
Fair
Perfect.
enough. Why is it like this?
I don't know. On our side, it's coming up all kind of backwards.
It's like it's flipped. But yeah, that's cool.
I didn't know we do tomfoolery, you know. I did not. I thought we were just straight business. Wow. You gonna play table tennis?
I'm on it. You need to play that live.
Nah, serious. All right, cool. Everybody can see it. All right, cool. It is 5 minutes. Let's begin. Let's begin. I'll keep it down to a minimum. We'll keep it down to a minimum. Thank you, Michelle. Who's that? Who's that? By the way, in the recording, when you guys get the recording, you won't get all of this kind of 5 minutes of like nothing's happening. Yeah, I'll have to cut it out. Or do you want to cut it out for me? I'll pay you.
You need to pay me what you paid what's his name, Nathan.
Oh. King. Yes, King. Davin, made this fun. I'll try my best. I'll try my best. Don't cut it. What? This is like what we haven't even started yet. We're just kind of interacting with you guys, making sure everything is all good. It's recording. 68 people here. Like I said, guys, bear in mind, are you in the UK at the moment? Where's the baby oil? Guys, come on, man. I finished the whole bowl. I finish it for every video that I do. And yeah, I am in the UK at the moment. Yeah, it's time to lock in still. The tomfoolery is fun. Keep those vibes lyrics. I mean, that's Dexter Daps if you're talking about.
That is action. Shout out vibes though.
No worries, Kevin. I'm embarking East London. Wow, I'm so sorry. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. I might link my ting from barking. All right, cool.
67 people. That you guys are.
I mean, East London too. Why are there so many Londoners here? Anybody from the West Midlands? You triggered it to her. Put it back as everyone. Everyone. All right, cool, guys. Regardless, we're about to start.
London, Texas.
We got a lot of stuff to cover today, guys. A lot of stuff to cover today. Spray, pens. I'm not gonna use this red one because this red one's starting to kind of like stain things, so it's starting to die out. It's all right, Anna. So we're good to go, yeah? I've given people, what time is it? I don't even know my phone is. My phone over there? What time is it? I just want to see the time.
1:08.
1:08. Make sure my phone's on D&D. Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, so we're officially about to start now. We'll give it 2 more minutes so we start at 10 past. It's a nice round number, I guess. But if you get any questions while I'm saying anything, obviously you have to understand that I'm at the whiteboard, so I'm not going to be able to see. But what I'm going to do, after I finish each and every section, I'll just come back and ask you a quick, check on the screen. Or I'll ask AJ to just read out questions as such after I finish this section. Because I know while I'm going to be saying things, certain ideas are going to spark into your mind. I don't want you to lose those ideas. I want you to put them down and put them in the Q&A section if you can, because if you put them in the chat, we won't be able to see them. So just to reiterate, make sure you put your questions in the Q&A. So if you don't know how to use Zoom like me, nigga, take your time right now and figure out how to use it, because I wouldn't know how to do that either. Any other prerequisites or anything? Let me just check on the ticket platform that it's officially launched. because I don't want them to be like, oh, you never launched the event. Oh, what's going on?
DC crashing.
Here, my man.
You can't minimize. What did he say?
So we circle the ends like the letter, man. Team hot like Shabba motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Shots fire, every man I drop flat. Stay up on a beat like Trinidad. Okay, start meeting. Just so it registered that I started it. I don't want them niggas saying you didn't start it. Just double checking. All right, cool. I received the email saying it started. Trinidad in the house. That's actually cool. Keep the maximum tomfoolery. I paid this and I'm here to get my money. Ooh. Ooh. I'll be honest with you. There's definitely going to be tomfoolery in this. I'm just going to be honest with you. But as long as you lock in, you'll get what you came for. So let's officially begin. So it's very important to note two things when we're discussing manifestation. And that is, that there's two components to manifestation, really and truly. There's two sides to manifestation. There's two aspects to manifestation that a lot of people tend to negate. But if you watched my videos, you'll hear me speak about it. But I just want to reiterate it so you can understand that there's two parts to this. It's not one component. Now, when it comes to manifestation, you have to understand that there is what is considered offense, and then there's defense. The offense is going to be everything you do to create the frequency of your desired reality. And I'd like to emphasize, really and truly, if you are here to change your reality, you've already got it fucked up, nigga. I'm just going to be honest with you. Because what we're going to be doing isn't about changing reality. In fact, any of the changes that we make today aren't going to be anything that's related to changing your reality. What it's actually going to be related to is going to be you altering your frequency and changing yourself internally. So I need to reiterate that because I don't want you to think to yourself, oh, it's about changing anything outside of you. As you guys know well enough by now, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. And the thing that you have to understand about that is we are creating the frequency, or the way that you can conceptualize it is the mental, emotional equivalent of your desired reality within. And I'm going to put that in capital so you understand the emphasis on that, right? Now, the second part is defense. It's about your ability to protect that frequency. That you have created. Because the truth of the matter is, and I don't mean this in a particularly negative sense, but once you understand the mechanics of the world in relation to the universe and how energy works, if we're talking about concepts such as energetic equilibrium, so on and so forth, you have to understand that the world wants to impress you with its frequency. And it's important that you understand if you don't tune your frequency, the world will tune it for you. So we need to make sure that you guys have shields up. Feel like I've definitely spelled this wrong. In fact, shields is an understatement. What we need to actually make sure that you guys have is protection. And that protection is going to be what allows you to birth that frequency into reality. Because if you don't have the ability to protect the frequency that you're attempting to cultivate, a couple of things are going to happen. That frequency is going to get corrupted, it's going to be infected, it's going to be altered. And then all your hard work is going to be in vain. So I need you to see the game of manifestation split in two senses: offense, defense. Offense, defense. And in the first part of this masterclass, what I'm going to be doing is offense. But don't worry, you're going to get the D. you're going to get the D. Pause. So, with that being said, prerequisites out the way. Let's get into it. And yes, I'm going to clean my whiteboard to the exact same degree that I do in my videos.
It said no pause is crazy.
No pause is crazy.
Yeah.
Do I pause? We don't say pause, we say play. Perfect. So, now, the first thing that you guys have to understand is the foundations of things. So, you have to understand in this space of manifestation or reality creation knowledge, a lot of people want to get you focused on techniques and methods and strategies. Which what you have to understand about that is that these things are always changing. And more often than not, it's trendy. Like niggas love wealthy subliminals. Then they love affirmations. Then they love the best way to make your vision board on Pinterest. Then they love this. Then they love that. Then they love this and they love that. I need you to elevate yourself beyond all of those things and step into principles. So the first concept that we're going to reiterate on, and I might make a video about this because I haven't made a video about this. What I'm about to speak on. I might make a video about it, but this is foundational to your understanding of your placement in relation to reality and your ability to create your reality, because you need to have a multidimensional level of awareness. And I say that to say, until you have a multidimensional level of awareness for how reality is constructed, you will then be subject to continuously experiencing yourself being in a trap. You need to have a certain level of awareness that goes beyond this third dimensional realm, because a lot of people, as I'm about to explain here, don't have the ability to see themselves outside this third dimensional realm, but you're going to have to look at yourself on a multidimensional level. So let's get into it. So I told you 90% of the world, and I really might make a video. AJ, let me know when I finish cooking here. Let me know if I should make a video on this.
Yeah.
Cool. You have to understand that I would probably say, for the example that I'm just trying to convey here, that 90% of the world make a mistake. They make a mistake that kills their manifestation. And that mistake arises from an ignorance to the three levels of existence. Now, you might have heard me touch on this very lightly in a video, but I've never gone into it in depth. And it's important that we go into it in depth, because you have to understand this isn't about the latest technique. This isn't about what's fun, what's trendy, what looks good. This is quite literally the way that you are comprised. And if you don't understand the base mechanics of yourself, you will never be able to understand the base mechanics of the universe, because technically your universe, that separation that I'm kind of distinguishing between these two things, there is no separation. They are one. You are one with your reality. You are one with your universe. And I need you to understand that. And I need you to understand that down to the most simplest of things. The mental activities that you allow to take place in your mind will take place in your world. They have taken place in your world. It's just that we have this ability, we have this unfortunate characteristic as human beings to externalize things outside. I didn't turn off the mic, did I? Cool. We have this unfortunate desire to externalize things, and we do this all the time. You know what? I'm getting hot, man. I thought I'd have it on, but we have this unfortunate ability to, unfortunately, exercise a certain level of externalization when it comes to ourselves, our placement in the universe. Hence why I'm going to say this is foundational. This is the beginning of manifestation. This is the foundation of manifestation. So I don't give a fuck if you think you've heard this before, so on and so forth, because you're here for a reason. So have the ability to almost pretend like you know nothing, because what I'm going to go through today is the foundations to yourself. And once you understand the foundations to yourself, you will be able to build upon the foundations in your reality. So 90% of people make a mistake that kills their manifestation, and that is their ignorance to the three levels of existence. Now, 3 planes, 3 levels, it doesn't matter. These 3 levels of existence are physical, and I'm going to cover them each all in depth. So make sure you're able to keep up. Mental, and spiritual. Or if you just want to watch this and go through it in your recording in your own time, that's perfectly fine. This is also known as body, mind, soul, or spirit. This is also known as Son, Father, Holy Spirit. You see? In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Mind, body, spirit. Physical plane, mental plane, spiritual plane. It's the exact same three patterns across many different cultures, which all are the esoteric foundations of you. And you will never, ever, listen to me, you will never be able to manifest your desired reality until you fully understand the multidimensional process of the construction of reality across all three planes of existence. Because I can guarantee it. I will put my life on it. If I got this wrong, I'll kill myself. That's how confident I am that you are making a mistake in, you'll see. Mind, body, spirit. And the mistake that 90% of the world makes is only using one plane of existence. One plane of existence. And the irony is, everybody thinks they use more planes than they actually do. But the truth of the matter is, you utilize one plane of existence. One. And this is what 90% of the world does as a mistake. Everybody utilizes one plane of existence. And I need you to understand that is 1/3 of the power of God, that you have the ability to alter your reality. You're attempting to do heavy lifting when you're malnourished. And you're malnourished because you're using 1/3 of the true power that you have in your ability to alter your reality. And it's important for you to understand that so long as you're using 1/3 of your power, 1/3 of efforts, if you imagine it, like let's say there's a big boulder that you want to push uphill. Imagine having 1/3 of strength to push that thing uphill. Instead of being able to have complete unison, 100% of your strength, which is what we're going to be covering in this first segment on how to actually do that. But I'll walk you through the mistakes that a lot of people make to begin with. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart, but the very next day, you gave it away.
You know, those Christmas tunes are banging.
Christmas tune slapping it. Can't lie, Mariah Carey is eating for life.
It's beginning to look a lot.
I'll be so real. I hate Christmas films. Cool. Let's begin with the plane or the level of existence that every single human being on this planet who has ever felt like they're putting a lot of effort in and working as hard as possible, but still aren't in their desired reality, or things still aren't unfolding in a way that they'd like. Let's start there. Let me use the black one. I got black, I got white. What you want? Hop outside the ghost and hop up in the fan. They see me blowing up. Now they say they want some. Cool. So the physical plane, quite simply, is the physical world. This is what you call your reality. Without understanding that what you call reality is only 0.0035% of the entirety of reality. You see 0.0035% of reality. This thing that you've allowed to gain so much of your emotions, so much emotional investment, so much annoyance, so much love, so much anger, so much annoyance, so much irritation, so much frustration. Isn't it crazy that only 0.0035% of something has the ability to do that to us? You're seeing a fraction of reality, and that's because this is what constitutes visible light. Now, visible light is a tiny tiny fraction of the entirety of the electromagnetic spectrum. Ultraviolet, infrared, etc., visible light. Visible light is how we see the world. But even when you see the world, you're not seeing the world because your eyes do not see. Your eyes take electrical signals and send them to your brain, and then your brain guesses what is being seen in front of it. Why do you think magicians can perform sleight of hand tricks that are able to trick you, or illusions? Why do you think? You remember that dress that was going around and people were like, oh, it's blue and black. Oh, it's white and gold. It's because we think we're seeing with our eyes. So everybody's looking at their phone saying, you don't see this, you don't see this. Without understanding that your eyes simply take electrical signals, send them to your brain, and your brain guesstimates what it is seeing based upon its own level of awareness, which is where the difference sets in. So when we're talking about the physical plane, like I said, is what you call reality. What you call real, bear in mind, even take the word reality has the word real in, which is funny because it's not real. It's not real. And on the physical plane, you see 0.0035%. That's the entirety of reality. Well, a fraction of it, based upon visible light, which bounces into your eyes through a process called refraction. Refraction then sends electrical signals from your eyes to your brain. Your brain guesses what it's seeing. Now, the thing about the physical plane is this. It is the realm of the world. It is the material world. And it's the material world. We call it the material world because of matter. Matter is the combination of particles that are tangible to us. You may have heard it used in the context of physics, but that's simplistically what it is. It's a collection or a combination of particles that are tangible. So, for example, anything that we can touch is made out of matter. This whiteboard, this wall, these pen, this plastic bottle, so on and so forth. It's matter. And the thing about matter, what they discovered in the 19th century, is that when they actually broke down matter to see what it was truly comprised of, what they came to a realization is that matter is a precipitate of what's called wave potentials. And precipitate is just a fancy way of saying droplet. So what we call matter is energy that has dropped from one state or one form to another. Pure energy, also known as wave potentials, an unmanipulated form of energy that can become anything. Wave potentials in a spiritual context is also synonymous with what we call consciousness. Crazy quantum physics experiments, whether the observer effect or wave collapse. Two great experiments. I recommend you look into them. I'd go into them, but then that'd be another hour and a half in explanations. So I'll just let you go into them. But I need you to understand that what we call matter is really just an altered form of consciousness. And the easiest way that I can get you to conceptualize this is through understanding what is considered to be ice. I'm always on my knees, man. Pause. Ice and steam. Steam and ice, same energy. Their only difference is their rate of vibration. This is the same thing with consciousness. And the thing that I forgot to mention about the word consciousness is that consciousness is interchangeable with the word imagination. Which, bear in mind, you need to entirely reconstruct your perception on the word imagination, because imagination has been made out to seem like some childish thing that, isn't real, and imagination isn't real, which is ironic because nothing exists in this reality that wasn't first constructed in the imagination of somebody. So this kind of collective societal push that it's just your imagination, this reduction in your state of consciousness actually minimizes your ability to create your reality. So the first thing that I need you to do is to understand that steam is what we'd call consciousness in this sense. You can't touch steam. You can, but you can't. You get what I'm saying? And ice is something you can hold and touch. This is what we'd call matter. Matter and consciousness is the exact same energy. Their only difference is their rate of vibration. That is the only difference between them. And this is exactly what you need to understand about the physical world or the material world, is that the physical world or the material world is actually just frozen imagination. So this pen I'm holding is frozen imagination. This whiteboard I'm writing on is frozen imagination. This eraser is frozen imagination. This microphone is frozen imagination. These shades, frozen imagination. And you need to begin to reconstruct the way that you've been taught to see the world, because we have this idea that reality is something that is fixated or permanent. Bear in mind, these are almost unspoken societal norms that we have. No one has particularly said this, but these are societal things that we just accepted. That reality, our definition of real is anything we can touch. That's our definition of real. Without understanding that if our definition of real is anything we can touch, if matter is real, then how is imagination or consciousness any less real when they're the same energy? Their only difference is their rate of vibration. Anything in reality that we conclude as fixed or permanent isn't really, because if you take a powerful microscope, you see that the particles in it, even this whiteboard, if you took a powerful microscope, you see that the particles within it are vibrating. And this is one of the Hermetic laws, law of vibration. Nothing rests, everything vibrates. And a vibration is an energetic signature. And your desired reality, guess what? Is an energetic signature. And so long as you can provide the right signature to the universe, it will then, by process of same energy, different vibration, take your steam and turn it to ice, and you'll have your desired reality. Whether that's a person, whether that's a job, whether that's more clients in your business, whether that's losing weight. Now, the thing about the physical plane, damn, I got no space. The thing about the physical plane, let me make some space. The thing about the physical plane, to go back to the point earlier about the mistake that everybody makes, is that the physical plane is reliant on something which is absolutely terrible. Well, I won't say terrible, but it's a very long-winded way of doing things. It's a very unnecessarily long-winded way of going about things. Now, for anybody who's worrying, like I said, this thing is recorded. You'll get an email of this in the next couple of hours, access to the recording. So if for whatever reason you gotta go, make sure you drop your question, and then you can just skedaddle, and then I'll handle it in it. Cool. So the thing about the physical plane is that it's reliant on one thing, which when it comes to manifestation, you're going to have to almost how do I say this? You're going to have to reconstruct your perception towards it, yes. And that is action. The physical plane is directly reliant on action because it's directly tied to your ego. Your ego is your five physical senses, also known as the avatar that God has created. You are the avatar of God. You're the materialization of God. And it's important for you to understand that because we live in a physical world, it's only right that we take physical action. But a dangerous thing begins to happen the more that we live in this world. For example, I think to myself, oh, I'm thirsty. Let me drink a bottle of water. I pick up a bottle of water. I drink that bottle of water. I wonder if you caught the dangerous thing that happened there. And that is my mind associated action with effect. And this is why 90% of people are never going to enter their desired realities. And it's because, very quite normally, by the way, anytime that we want to change something in our reality, for example, I went to the dentist the other day. I know you guys don't think I'm real, but I went to the dentist and I had to have fillings. I had to take the physical action to go to the dentist. He had to take the physical action of injecting me with anesthetic in my gums and then putting in fillings. Our mind begins to associate because we're so used to it, taking action with effect. A fancy way of saying effect is result. If I want to get a result, I'll take action. And how many times have we seen those people that we love grow up with this particular idea? I just need to work harder. I just need to do this. How many times have you tried it? I just need to do this. I just need to do more of this. I just need to try this harder. I need to try this longer. I just need to do this. And we end up falling for something very dangerous, which is associating action with result and effect. Guys, this is no buenos. This is no bueno. Where's my red pen?
Oh, I see it. This.
No. That's the one that stains. This is no bueno. Not good. Not good. What you have to come to an understanding of is the true, and bear in mind, this ties into what we're going to be covering on the spiritual and mental plane too. This is very, very deep stuff. But the mistake that a lot of people make is associating physical action with effect. Because here's the thing, the physical realm that we live in, your reality is the realm of effect. It is the realm of effect. So by the time that you experience a condition in reality that you might want to change, or you might want to alter, or you might want to shift from, by the time you experience something in reality, it has already happened. What you're seeing, think about it like a cinema screen. If you have the screen where you're watching the film on, it is being projected. By the time you're watching it in front of you, it has long been played and set in the back, but now you're just seeing it physically expressed into your reality. But you're forgetting that there's a multi-dimensional order to things which we're going to cover. But this is the mistake that a lot of people make. They think they can outwork their mind. And this is the mistake that you need to step away from. You need to stop thinking, oh, I'm going to change my reality. I just need to do this. I just need to do this. I just need to do this. No, the first thing that you have to do is be different. And when I mean be different, I mean this from a point of vibration to which, like I said, relax, you're going to get some, we're going to cover that. But you have to be different because the whole basis of this thing is a lot of people think they can outwork their mind. I'll give you an example. Growing up in the ghetto, it's very normal that a lot of us, even though we grew up in the ghetto, our parents may be hardworking. They may be cleaners. They may be nurses. They may just do whatever they can, right? They take a lot of physical action. They work as hard as possible. They work themselves to their bone. But quite literally, they're in the exact same circumstance. And it's because they think that the action that they're taking is an effect. They think the action that they take is an effect. But action, because action is in the realm of the physical world, action is an effect. And what they're trying to do is trying to change an effect by changing an effect. And that doesn't make any sense. They think they can outwork their mind, which is the true cause, as I'm about to cover very shortly when we get to the mental plane. But I just need you to understand that the physical plane is the realm to which most people are trapped at. Most people think that their progress in life will come from working. And this right here is the lowest level of consciousness. It is the lowest level of work. And the truth of the matter is about what you're going to realize is that it's not about working hard, it's not about working smart, it's about working multidimensionally. And that's when you align all three planes of existence in direct unity. That's a bar, write that down. So what we're going to be having to do is to make sure that by the time that you do take action, things are arranged physically. And I'm going to show you how to arrange the physical plane, the mental plane, the spiritual plane, because a lot of people have the wrong order when they attempt to do that. But so far, that is the physical plane. Bear in mind, just because it is the lowest level, that doesn't mean you don't need to take action. A lot of spiritual niggas will tell you that you don't need to take action because it's fucking lazy. And everybody has a part of themselves that is lazy. It appeals to us. The idea that we can just sit down and do nothing and things will just magically come to us. That's not how things work. And it's not how it works because that's not how the universe is comprised. The universe doesn't just have, the mental plane. There's the physical plane, there's the spiritual plane. So it's about understanding how to rearrange those things because there's an order to them. Like I said, there's an order. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to have to work hard because you make the laws of your reality. If you believe that you need to work hard, then working hard will get you a result. Not because working hard gets people results, but simply because you've locked yourself into a particular law. You've created your own law of the universe that the universe will then say, has this individual been working hard? Do I feel like I'm working hard enough? And then things will finally open. But a simple reconfiguration of that belief in of itself will make things, be a bit easier for you. Now, the mental plane. mental plane. I don't know why that doesn't look right, but it is. That says plane. Just don't even. The mental plane. The mental plane, quite simply, is your mind. But it's not just your mind. It is also what's considered the connection to the infinite intelligence. The infinite intelligence is what we call God. And what we call God is an aspect of creation that is not only above creation, but above the illusions. And the illusions can be space, it can be time, etc., etc. And what you have to understand about the infinite intelligence, this is also referred to as the superconscious, right? The superconscious is also known as God, the infinite intelligence. Your mind is directly created to that. And there's a portion of this that is in you. Please remember that. Because even when we're talking about manifestation, you can't manifest shit. And I say that to say you can't manifest anything. And so long as you try to manifest something, it's not going to work. What has to manifest it is the portion of the infinite intelligence which is within you, which, yes, I will show you how to activate that. That's what I'm doing here. Relax, you're going to get some. But the infinite intelligence is the portion that is above the illusions, such as space-time constraints. So in a sense, you can think about this like a universal library. It contains all realities, it contains all conditions, it contains all universes. It is a universal library that is beyond space and time constraint. So everything that could ever happen has already happened. Every single combination of what could happen has already happened, etc., etc., etc. In other traditions, this is what they call the Akashic records. And people have the ability to tap in to the Akashic records, for example. But in the mental plane, you just simply have to understand that it's the mind. You can conceptualize it as the mental world. And the mental world is comprised of your mental activity. And your mental activity is comprised of your most dominant, emotionally charged thoughts. I never want to hear you guys harp on about, oh, I just need to change my thinking. I just need to change my thinking. I just need to change my thinking. You have to understand all thoughts need to be emotionally charged because emotion is the language of God. Emotion is energy emotion, which when it interacts with the thought, it alters the vibration of that thought, increasing its likelihood of materialization. So it's not just about thinking things. Thoughts alone isn't going to get you anywhere. And we've all done affirmations before where we're like in the mirror, we're like, I'm a millionaire. I love myself. I will attract better. No emotion. And because there's no emotion, emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, which don't worry, relax, you're going to get some. It doesn't tap into anything. But I need you to understand on a simplistic level that your mental world is determined by your mental activity. Your mental activity is your most dominant thoughts. I'll give you an example. But before that, actually, the other thing about the mental plane is that the mental plane is the causal realm. It is the causal realm. So the physical plane is the realm of effect. The mental plane is the causal realm. So by the time that you experience anything physically, the prerequisite is that it exists mentally. Which once again, this is the mistake that a lot of people make. Your mental world is comprised of your mental activity, which is comprised of your emotionally charged thoughts. It is also known as the causal realm. The causal realm will always, I repeat, always, I've been trying to do it always, it will always lead to an effect, which we call reality. So the reason why I say a lot of people make a mistake is a lot of people, and this is hilarious, you know, when you think about it, a lot of people spend their lives by trying to change their lives by taking action because their mind has associated action with their result because they're so used to taking results to get action. It's normal on the physical plane. But as you look at reality multidimensionally and you understand that the mental world is the causal realm, which always leads to an effect, a lot of people attempt to change their reality before they change themselves. And this is going to be a mistake that you fall into. I repeat, this is going to be a mistake that yes, the awakened one. This is going to be a mistake that even you make. And this is going to be a mistake we all make. Do you know why? Because we've spent our lives associating action with result. We've spent our entire lives associating action with effect. We've spent our whole lives associating action with result. So there's going to be times in your reality where you need to catch yourself out. When you're experiencing something you don't like, no matter what it is, whether it's a person that's just being an asshole, whether it's you maybe not materializing the person you want, maybe it's not sales in your businesses, maybe you're struggling to get jobs. You need to have the ability to redirect your attention to the causal realm and catch yourself out. And instead of being frustrated with the job that's not replying, the business deal that's not closing, the person that's not texting you back, the weight that's not going away, whatever it is, instead of being frustrated with things other than you actually need to turn your attention directly to you. And as I said, I promise you, you're going to catch yourself out. It happens all the time. I'll give you an example. So my payment processor once locked up my money for whatever silly reasons. And I tried everything. I tried emailing them. I tried doing this. I tried doing this. I tried doing that. And this is Stripe. So if you want to get fucked, use Stripe. So I remember I tried, appealing it, doing everything that I could. But my mental activity was, fuck Stripe. Why are they doing this to me? Why have they locked my money? Why do they keep doing this? My mental activity was, the fuck is this? This is terrible. What? And this is me, by the way. This is Nero, the robot, the reptile. My mind was like, what is this? Like, why are they being so fucking annoying? Like, why can't they just like, what's going on? Like, I don't get it. Why are they just being extra? But then in the physical plane, I would try email them and say, like, no, look, let me show you. Everything's sorted. Like, everything's great. Like, just, unlock my money, please, sir. Please, sir. The things I was setting in motion from a particular degree of cause and my effects weren't lining up. I was trying to change an effect by changing an effect by emailing them, talking to them, speaking nice to the people on the phone and the operators. Yeah. How's your day, John? Yeah, glad to hear that. Yeah. So where are you from? Oh, ways. What? The whole fucking time in my head, I'm thinking, these bastards. And that was the degree of chain of events that I was setting in motion to be created in reality. So please catch yourselves out. Like I said, extrapolate this to whatever it is that you're trying to materialize. Obviously, I don't know what it is that you're trying to materialize, so I can't say it for you, but you have the degree of awareness to understand what I'm talking about. Always make sure if you're seeing something in your reality that you don't like, ask yourself, is my mind aligned to this? Is my mental activity reflective that this particular reality is something that I am already experiencing? And guess what? The funny thing about Stripe is, bear in mind, they've locked my money again. But this old example that I'm talking about, right? I woke up one day and my money wasn't locked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I withdrew it straight away because I said, yo, what these guys lock it up again? But I say that to say, your mental activity, you have to make sure that you are conscious, as conscious as you can be. And you're going to catch yourself out at times. I don't want you to beat yourself up or anything, because it is frustrating when you kind of look back and you're like, damn, my mind wasn't all the way there. For example, anybody who's ever been in a relationship, when you're beefing your partner, what the fuck are you doing in your head? Your mental activity is, it's so fucking stupid. Like, what? Why are they acting like this? I can't believe they'd say that. What are they thinking? In your head, you're giving them everything that you wish you'd said in the argument that you missed out to begin with. But at the same time, in real life, you're trying to harmonize and be cool with them. And you're trying to make peace again. But you're trying to make peace when your mental activity is reflective of chaos. And remember, there is no mind and reality, they're one. I want you to stop looking at it like that. Even though I'm giving you the 3 planes of existence and how to utilize them, I want you to understand that the mind and reality are one. And those arguments that you're having, I remember when I just used to, before I started working with 6 to 8 figure entrepreneurs, I just used to work with anybody that would literally pay me. So I remember consistent pattern with women, of course they want romantic relationships. I even helped one of my friends, manifest getting married as such. And the irony of it is, is that more often than not, whenever I talk to these women and we'd go through mental activity, in their head when they weren't with their man, and I know both genders do this, by the way. You're thinking, what are they doing? You're imagining the worst thing in your head. You're like, oh my God, they're doing this. They're absolutely doing this. They're doing this. They're doing this. They're doing that. And in your head, it's the absolute worst of the worst scenes to a point where now you're generating a degree of motion. That combination of emotion and mental energy then sets in motion the frequency. That frequency must turn into a reality, or because you didn't realize that mental activity. And bear in mind, this ain't spiritual gaslighting. I'm not saying you niggas can go cheat on people and say you manifested it. That's crazy. But I'm saying that these things do matter. And I need you to be fully aware and fully conscious of them to make sure that to the best degree that you possibly can be, everything is aligned. And that is the mental plane. Now there's the spiritual plane. Like I said, the most important is how to order them, and I'll explain why. But next is the spiritual plane. Am I missing anything from here? Oh, yes. The one thing that I forgot to say is that because the mental plane is a universal library, everybody has the ability to tap into it, and everybody does tap into it. So, for example, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, all of these mad companies, sometimes you ever had an idea, whether it's a business idea or just a crazy idea, and you feel like you thought of it and you're the only person in the world. And then you go and tell it to someone, they're like, yeah, someone's already done that. Why? It's because we're all connected to this universal library. And at various points through our lives, things drop in there. Amazon dropped in there for Jeff. Apple dropped in there for Steve. Microsoft dropped in there for Bill. And this can be extrapolated to whatever. Like I remember I must have been chilling with one of my boys who was like, you know what, fam? You ever heard, what about jollof rice ice cream? I said, what? Jollof rice ice cream? What? That's crazy. Turns out it already exists. But in that moment, he wasn't inspired by anything. It just came to him. And when you ask these people, how did you come up with this idea? In these interviews, you see them, they say, oh, it just came from where? The universal library, also known as the mental plane, which is the degree of infinite intelligence that exists beyond this third dimensional realm, that your mind is also connected to and experiences, which also tends to be the mental world. And your mental world is constructed by mental activity. Your mental activity is the most dominant, most emotionally charged thoughts. Those are most emotionally charged thoughts set in motion cause. Cause must always lead to effect, which is reality. Instead of trying to change an effect by changing effect, always make sure that first your cause is in direct alignment with your desired reality. Because before you can change your reality, you must change yourself mentally, but also emotionally in combination with the emotionally charged thoughts.
Someone said, I wish I found Nero before he got expensive.
I wish I found Nero before he got expensive. That's hilarious.
Yo, Nero, any Black Friday deal for a 1-1 gold?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Trust me. So long as you lock into this, like you won't. Guys, another thing that I want to make while I'm here, that I want to emphasize, is that most of you don't have a problem manifesting at all. What you have a problem with is the insecurity in your knowledge. And I say that to say, I'm a nigga who's read hundreds of books, literally looking at hundreds of books behind me. I have all of those books because I'm insecure. I was insecure in my knowledge, and I'm still insecure in my knowledge. I feel like I still never know enough. But more often than not, it's the fact that we believe that we don't know enough that actually leads us to wanting to learn and do more. Learning and doing more is actually what you need to do less of, because that can lead to analysis paralysis. And then you have so many different techniques and you've heard so many different things and you're trying all these guided meditations, you don't even know what to do. Guys, believe when I tell you, so long as you listen to what I'm saying, you take notes and you implement it, you will be more than fine with this. I can assure you. You're more than fine with my YouTube videos as well. Muy bueno. So, the third, spiritual plane. AJ, how long has it been?
It is currently 1:54.
So we've been talking for about 40 minutes. I need to quicken up because I got a lot to cover. I need to quicken up.
And there's a lot of questions.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to quicken up because I put 3 hours conservatively, but I'm like, damn, cool. So, whoops. I told you that could have been its own video. I literally told you that that could have been its own video. Because people look at things simplistically. Everybody's heard of the three planes, but nobody actually, if you actually understood the three planes, then manifestation would be completely easy because you'd have a true understanding and insight into where you need to kind of rearrange yourself. Now, mental plane. The mental plane, sorry, the spiritual plane, I'm tweaking. The spiritual plane, quite simply, is where your spirit exists. It's the spirit world, also known as the astral world. Now, yes, we can talk about etheric and quantum energy, but I don't want to get too technical because you don't really need to know all of that stuff. Hence why I keep everything simple because most of this shit is vanity. Bear in mind, there's nothing more I love than being able to be in a do-rag and a vest and talk very, very deep concepts. But simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication, as was said by Leonardo da Vinci. It's where your spirit exists. It's also known as the astral world. It is your connection to the infinite. It is your connection to the infinite, which we also characterize as God. Now, here's the thing. The stronger the connection, the stronger your ability to materialize. How do I get stronger, Nero? Relax, you're gonna get. I will show you. I actually cover that in the next section after this. It all ties in. Everything ties in. Quite simply, the spiritual plane is where your spirit exists. It's also known as the astral world. This is what you experience, for example, when you dream. And once again, before anything exists physically, it exists first mentally and spiritually. Mentally and spiritually. It is your connection to the infinite. The stronger the connection, the stronger your ability to materialize. Now, here's the thing. Like I told you earlier, it's very important. And the way that you can think about it is this. So the mental plane is the realm of cause. The physical plane is the realm of effect. The spiritual plane is the oven. It is the oven that the hotter it is, the quicker it heats up the cause. So think about putting bread into an oven. You put bread into an oven. If you put it at the right temperature, a lot of people are slow cooking their shit. And that's why it takes a long time for their stuff to materialize. But if you put it at the right temperature, or maybe even just a bit higher, it allows for things to rise much more quickly. Now, does that mean it's going to rise to a degree that when you get it, you're going to be satisfied with it? That's for you to figure out. But the point being for the conceptualization of what I'm trying to get you to think about the spiritual plane as, it is the oven that heats up your cause into effect. And the hotter the oven, the stronger the connection, the stronger your ability to materialize. Now, what actually determines the strength of your connection is a couple of things. But quite simplistically, it can be boiled down to one esoteric saying, which a lot of people don't really get the meaning of, but hopefully you will when you see it, which is to let go and let God. To let go and let God is to tap into what Jesus was talking about in the realm of in the scripture Matthew. When is it 19:12? It's in Matthew. Is it 19:12? Doesn't matter. But in Matthew, Jesus said, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." And that's for you to understand that you need to let go and let God. The issue is you're so self-reliant that you can't be God reliant. And here's the thing, you're probably somebody who's used to working hard in the physical plane, independent. You're clearly intellectually independent. So I can imagine you're physically independent too. And because you're so used to doing things yourself, that you actually have no space for God to do things for you, you need to get yourself out the fucking way. And yes, I'll explain how to do that very shortly, but I'm just trying to get you to understand you actually need to let go and let God. Because when you let go, that is you letting go of your ego. And I don't mean in a negative characteristic, I mean this idea that you have to be the one that does things. You have to be the one that materializes things. What I mean is that you need to let go and let God, let the infinite intelligence change your reality, because that is the only thing that can change your reality. I repeat, the infinite intelligence is the only thing that can change your reality. And that portion of the infinite intelligence or God is within you. You just need to get yourself out of the way. How do I get myself out of the way, Nero? You get yourself out of the way in three ways. But like I said, I'll cover that straight after I make this point that I'm making here. So now you know the three planes, the functionalities of the three planes, what they're comprised of, and their essential, the role that they play in physical manifestation. You have to understand, and please write this down. Please write this down because you can use this as kind of like a roadmap or a guidance system to any time that you're maybe struggling to materialize what it is that you want. All successful manifestation requires unity across all three planes of existence. All successful manifestation. And you know what? While you lie here, I'm going to give you some book recommendations. I told you I could make this into a video. Number one, The Process of Realization by Ivan Antic. One of my favorite authors. This is a very low-key book. Very, very low-key book. I've had it in the camera for long enough for you to see it. This book taps into what I'm saying slightly. There's an order to placing the planes, and how most people place it is this. And it's just wrong how most people place it. Hence why they live in realities that are wrong. Well, by their own metric. So the big mistake that everybody makes is putting the physical plane first. If you put the physical plane first, you might as well say you fucked it already. That's already game over. Why? Because it's the realm of illusion. Illusion is a fancy way of saying trapped, which means your progress is trapped. Because the physical plane is the realm of effect. You can't change an effect by changing an effect. You need to elevate yourself and move to the cause. Remember. So it doesn't really matter what it doesn't really matter what you put after. If you put a physical plane as your number one, you're cooked, buddy. It's over. You're wrapped. It's done. So it doesn't even matter. This is just wrong, right? So make sure you understand that any time that you're struggling in reality is because you're putting the physical plane first, which means you're attempting to work yourself out of the mind. Can't do that. The correct order is as follows. Please remember this, guys. This is the correct order. Once you understand what your desired reality is, and guys, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. Whether you want to manifest a partner, whether you want to manifest losing weight, whether it's more clients in your business, a specific number, whether it's a specific job, or it's a specific income, a specific house, whatever it is, whatever your desired reality is, you need to make sure that your mental plane, your mental world, so the mental activity is reflective of that. That is the first crucial step. And you need to make sure that you are your desired reality. You are it. And I'll explain how I mean are it when I go into the 5 levels of frequency, as I'm going to be covering very shortly. But you're going to get more understanding as I spin back. But right now, considering that these are the notes that you're first making, you're going to see that all your notes kind of go into a full circle, as they should, right? As they should, because they're all components of each other. Then the next thing, after you've kind of entered the frequency of your desired reality by taking on the mental attitude of mental activity of emotionally charged thoughts that reflect that, then it's about your ability to let go into the spiritual plane and know that God has done it. And that's your ability to let go, to move yourself out the way and be self-reliant, and to do the 3 things that I'm going to be covering straight after this. So just relax, you're going to get some. And then finally, then and only then, after you have entered your desired reality mentally, after you've then let go and understand that it's already done because God's doing it and it's not you, the lowly human worm that the world has told you that you are, then you take action. And the physical action, how do you to do it? I'll explain. So you have to understand how action is materialized into reality. The action that we take, whether it's driving the car down a certain road, taking a left at the traffic light, whether it's, fixing something on your website, reaching out to this person, doing a job application, whatever the fuck it is. The actions that we take as human beings are the things we are compelled to do. You have these things that you're naturally compelled to do. The silent voice in your head just says, yo, do this. That is based upon your intuition. Your intuition is comprised of two words: inner teaching, inner guidance. Your intuition is determined by your frequency, otherwise known as your mind. This is why the mind is the biggest domino. Because once you arrange yourself on the mental plane correctly, that has a knock-on effect onto your intuition. So then you start receiving inner guidance, inner tuition that is coming from the version of you that's already in that desired reality. So you're giving yourself cheat codes internally from that point of reality that you're already experiencing it. Then you're going to be naturally compelled in reality to do specific things. Then those specific things are going to lead to you taking action. The action is going to lead to materialization. That is the first segment, 3 planes. Now, AJ said that's been about like 50 minutes or an hour, which is terrible because we have a lot to cover. So let me just
5 minutes.
shoot out some questions to me, bro.
Before we go into the questions, they said we should start a free community on Discord.
Start a free community on Discord.
Or school. They just want to be with like cool people.
That is pretty nice, to be fair. That is pretty cool. Maybe I'll consider that. Maybe I'll consider that. I do like that. Shoot out some Q&A questions. Remember, guys, if you're putting questions, put them in the Q&A, not the chat.
All right. William Bradley said, well, the ideal situation is to maintain a high frequency while shifting internally to such a degree that one is no longer emotionally dependent on the change they want to see, and also idolizing a desired reality. What are some realistic physical actions that some should coincide with some manifesting aspects? I imagine one can't just sit on their couch and manifest and expect everything.
Oh, I think I've already explained that. William, if I didn't answer that, which I'm pretty sure I did, I'm pretty sure I answered that question through what I was just explaining. Drop it again and I'll answer it again, or maybe change it. But I already answered that question.
Anonymous attendee: how to truly get out of the cycle of property when you were born into it. I don't know if you mean property or poverty. Raised in it, and your whole entire family is still there. I made over 100.
It makes what?
I made over 154. I made over 450K in 1 year at 22 years old and lost every single penny, even including the investment I tried, all failed. I believe it's because of hidden property mindset.
Defo poverty mindset. Yeah, so essentially, if you just go back to what I just said, if we understand that, sorry, I kind of wiped off, but action is the lowest level of consciousness. Those specific things that you've done that led to you losing your money, which means it was first coming from something you were compelled to do. The things you were compelled to do was coming from your intuition. Your intuition is dependent upon your mindset and frequency. The issue is the universe essentially balanced you out. The universe likes energetic equilibrium. It likes balance. So anytime, and that's not to say that the money that you made, maybe you made it too quickly, but I'm assuming you did make the money like that. And the reason for that is because the mind, what's wrong?
There's more to it.
Oh.
He basically goes on to say he makes great money now, but he holds on to every single penny. He wants to let go of the feeling that if he spends it, it's gonna come back, kind of thing.
Only you can do that. Like that's just the decision. And the thing is, people say, how do I believe different things? Well, it first begins with a decision, because all beliefs are choices, whether we were given or choices that we weren't given, that we unfortunately internally made. All you have to do is literally make the decision to do that. Now, it's going to be scary for you to kind of step back into that frequency of, things are abundant and so on and so forth because of your experience. But that's actually your old frequency's fear from it feeling like it's going to lose out on you once you step back into the old version of you. So I would say you need to kind of lean into the fear. You need to lean into the fear until you dissipate that energy, so then you can transmute into courage, but understanding that you might have lost it all, but from what it sounds like, you built it back. And that's what you need to centralize your concentration on, to skew your vibrations to that particular degree of reality, to create a frequency which will eventually turn into a reality. What's the next one?
Right. From Davin Williams: doesn't offense and defense relate to the principle of rhythm?
In a sense, yes. They're two components. Essentially, they're polarities of each other. But yes, it's important that you are swinging correctly on both parts. Pause.
Natty Salam said, wait, what is the concept that you were talking about having to do with the wave potentials that would take another hour to explain? I'm going to research it.
Wave collapse. It's called, type in quantum physics, wave collapse, and then quantum physics, the observer experiment. Yeah.
From Minvo. My business revenue has recently gone down from close to $10,000 down to $3,000 in a matter of months. That's not all profit. How do I get back to where my money was just coming in easy?
Get back into doing everything in the way that you was thinking when you was at 10K. What often happens is that as our reality changes, because our mind associates what we're seeing with a degree of reality, we then almost shrink down with our reality. No, I need you to be bigger than the reality that you're experiencing. When you was making 10K, you was thinking a certain way, you looked at reality a certain way. Until you can think a certain way again and believe things in a certain way and look at reality in a certain way again, you'll continue to make the money that you're making right now. So one thing I would say, think everything that you're thinking mentally, do everything that you're doing spiritually, and then after that, just how I explained in the three planes, allow that to arrange yourself and then take all the physical actions that are reflective of that. So for example, if at 10K you were doing something that maybe you wouldn't do now, whether it's treating yourself to a massage, if you can afford it, go and do it, because doing that would indicate to the universe that you're at a particular level. Now that's a small example, but extrapolate that to whatever it may be to you personally.
They're saying they're struggling to hear me. How about now?
I'm struggling to hear you.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear AJ now?
Can you hear me better now? Okay, cool. Same person had another, I don't know if it's a question. I recently did too much with this girl. I liked a little too much and she pulled away. I pulled way back after I realized I was in my old frequency of being a simp. It's been months of no contact, but she recently interacted with a story I posted in WhatsApp. It was interesting. I do feel like I'm good with or without her now. Do I keep doing what I've been doing?
Clearly, because that's what's working, isn't it? Clearly, you're seeing the physical expression of that manifestation, which is internally shifting to a degree which no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing your reality change. So keep doing what you're doing and keep maintaining that frequency. And I would say also kind of detach yourself from calling the frequency of a simp, etc., because the more attention that we give and the more characterization we give to our old frequency as opposed to just saying an old frequency, the more emotional ties to it. When you're saying simp, that comes with humiliation, that comes with embarrassment, and a whole bunch of other frequencies that I don't want you holding on to. So just keep doing everything you're doing, my guy.
Same person again. I recently read Reality Transurfing, which had a lot of parallels to what you teach. It talks about how the heart and the mind needs to agree so you can on the optimal
Not true.
lifeline.
They don't need to agree, but your heart needs to be able to produce the emotional equivalent to the mental equivalent. So the mental emotional energy can combine, create the frequency that will lead to the expression of your desired reality. They don't need to agree. You think most of our hearts really, really want more money? No, that's not what the heart wants. But it's about understanding that if you can produce the emotion from your heart and combine that with the mental emotional energy, then that will lead to a frequency which then has to materialize to a reality. A lot of people materialize things that their hearts don't want. Do you think of people's hearts are in poverty? Not necessarily. And that's something I disagree with the book. And I read that book like 7 times. Good book.
Aisha George, how do I emotionally disconnect from something I've been emotionally invested in for many years?
Made the decision that you're disconnected and then just keep doing everything that follows after that. It's quite literally that simple.
Zoom user. How do I find the thing I can make money from that will give me the most money and will be the most interesting for me? How do I know I found it?
Literally follow the steps that I spoke about to the action. So action is preceded by the things you're compelled to do. The things that you're compelled to do is preceded by your intuition. Your intuition is preceded by your frequency. Get into the frequency of just having money, and then you will naturally be compelled based upon your intuition to take actions, whether it's starting this, starting that, talking to this person, reaching out to this person, etc., etc. Give me two more, and then I'm gonna jump on to the next thing.
You got so many questions, bro. I'm not even halfway down. Um,
Stay at the part where we leave off.
yeah,
So
no
then
problem.
I'll just keep going through them.
Anonymous attendee. Are all emotionally charged thoughts equal? For example, negatively charged thought equal to a positively charged one or an
Yes.
anxious thought?
Yes, equal. Completely equal, which is why it's not really necessarily about positive emotion that you experience. So long as you experience intense emotion, that's important. Whether that's intense negativity or intense positivity, they both have the same potentiality to create.
Are there additional resources to recommend to read or listen to podcasts, etc., to continue to immerse in the material?
I guess I'll give book recommendations as I go along. Maybe I'll do like a bunch of books at the end. AJ will probably kill me for that because he wants me to make a YouTube video about it. But because yeah.
How do you, William Bradley, how do you change your mental activity to get your money from Stripe in your example? How did you check yourself?
I checked myself by saying, I'm so glad Stripe is giving me my money. Wow, I can't believe they released my money. They really released my money. I knew they were going to release my money. These were the type of thoughts I allowed to take place in my mental activity. Next.
What anonymous attendee, what advice can be given for people with severe history of trauma or anxiety?
I always recommend people to lean into their trauma. Trauma is one of those things that we push to the back of our minds. And because we push them to the back of our minds, we're unconscious of how it's affecting us in our day to day, but it's playing in the background very quietly and very silently, altering the frequency of everything that you touch. So, what I always say to people, go to the traumatic experience that you went through, get into a very deeply meditative, relaxed state. Just relax your body, just completely relax, close your eyes, and repeat that traumatic event, but instead of it being a negative experience, alter it to a way that it could have unfolded positively instead. So for example, I had a client who was abused by his parents would abuse him quite literally for no reason, and every time they'd get into his room they'd just beat him. So what I got him to do was to relive that, but instead of his parents breaking into his room to beat him, they would hug him. Because then you have to understand that the mind can't distinguish between falsehood and reality. The mind can't distinguish between imagination and reality. So if you can create a reality experience internally that is intense, vivid, essentially what's going to happen is that your mind, and because the subconscious mind doesn't adhere to the concept of time, you're essentially going to overwrite the trauma that's playing in the past into the present now, and then you'll begin to experience the effects of that. Stay at that place.
That point, say no more.
Moving on to the next segment, guys.
And that's my microphone disappearing.
5 levels of frequency. Now, as I said to you guys, if you want to change your what I like to reiterate, I'm not here to change your reality. You're not here to change your reality. If you're here to change your reality, you've already fucked it. Because remember, anytime that we put importance or we examine too deeply at the physical plane, we're negating the true experience of manifestation, which I repeat is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. So we're here to change our frequency. So these are the 5 levels of frequency, because so long as we can change these, we will change our reality. These are beliefs, emotionally charged thoughts. And yes, I'm going to take you through how to alter every single one in reflection to your desired reality, your attention, which this could also be a video in of itself. Quite literally. Hopefully this doesn't take like an hour, or AJ will be looking at me like identity. That's the one that I'm missing. And then moods. These are the 5 levels of frequency. Each one of these things I'll put to a frequency. That frequency is eventually going to have to turn into a reality. Listen, the universe has no choice but to turn every frequency into a reality. Bear in mind, when I say frequency, frequency is interchangeable with consciousness, which is interchangeable with mind. Consciousness and matter are the same energy, only difference is, ladies and gentlemen, you should have said their rate of vibration. Their rate of vibration. And so long as you do that, then things will begin to change. This is the process of how reality is created on a multidimensional level. So let's look at each one of these things and make sure that they're all reflective. Because in order for you, as I said, and once similar to how I said about the 3 planes, the 3 planes need to be in synchronistic alignment. Your beliefs, emotionally charged thoughts, attention, identity, and moods and attitudes, they all need to be in synchronistic alignment too. None of them can be they can't be out of alignment. They all need to be in alignment, because the stronger that they all are aligned, the stronger your frequency. The stronger your frequency, the stronger the ability for you to materialize your desired reality. So, quite simply, your beliefs, simplistically, your beliefs is anything you believe to be true about the world. A belief is a collection of thoughts that we continuously repeat. And these continuous thoughts that we repeat, we internalize them as truth. Is it true that it's hard for a black man to progress in the world? Is it true that it's difficult for a woman in business to be taken seriously? Is it true that sure niggas get no girls? Is it true that all Jamaicans are drunkards? All jokes aside, like I said, beliefs are a collection of thoughts that we continuously and repeatedly experience. We keep thinking the same things over and over and over. We keep thinking the same things over and over until eventually they become a truth in our reality. So the thing I'd have to say is, whatever your desired reality is, what are some beliefs that you have around that desired reality that you need to be aware of? Maybe, unintentionally or intentionally affected. I'll give you an example. Let's go on that thing I was just saying about short niggas getting girls, right? I know a lot of short guys, and me, I guess I'm sure I'm like what, 5'8", 5'9", something like that. Anyways, but I'm talking like, niggas that are like 5'2", whatever. They have these, and once again, please, this is just an example. Just extrapolate this to your field, whatever your desired reality is. They have that particular belief that all girls want guys that are 6 feet. That belief doesn't lead to their desired reality. What is the purpose of a belief if it's not there to serve you? It is there to control you. So I reiterate, whatever the beliefs around your desire, and please, let's take the example of money, for example, or business. So whenever people work with me, I'll give you an example. So whenever clients come to me, let's say they're making 300K and they want to make 500K. I'm giving this example because this is an example I've done with a client in 7 weeks. They came to me saying, oh, they're 300K. I want to make 500K. I was like, cool. They actually didn't make 500, they made like 486K, but just gonna round it up, what I mean? They said to me that, oh, January is the worst period for farm owners. I said, what? What? They were like, January is the worst period for farm owners. I said, well, would the version of you that's making the amount of money that you make hold that belief as something real? They said no. So we got rid of that belief. Because you have to understand, you have to be able to examine whatever it is that you're trying to materialize. That has a particular line of beliefs that are around it. You need to be able to look at those beliefs and see if they match up to your desired reality. Because more often than not, you are carrying beliefs that don't. And it's so simple. You just have to stop believing them. And it's like people say, how do I get rid of negative beliefs? Choose the opposite. Because everything comes within a polarity. Polarity is the idea that there's negative, positive, masculine, feminine, yin, yang. Everything comes in complementary pairs. So the belief that you have that is negative has a complementary positive one. Stop believing this one and start concentrating on that one. And that's how you end up believing things. It becomes it's a decision that you make simplistically to just say, you know what? Try this. When you have a negative belief that pops up, just say, I'm not going to think this anymore. Try it. Because guess what? Your old frequency wants to obfuscate, which simply means to overcomplicate the idea of you changing your beliefs so you actually don't change your beliefs. I repeat, your old frequency makes it seem as if changing your beliefs is going to be so complicated and you need this crazy method that you just don't do it when it's literally just deciding to believe something else. Imagine somebody brings you a meal you don't like. They're like, and you're like, it's literally that simple. But like I said, extrapolate this to whatever your field is in. So for example, another one of my clients is an artist. He said that typically in the art world right now, there's a recession. A lot of artists aren't getting plays, etc., etc. I said, recession for artists? I said, would a version of you be in an art recession? He said, no. So why the fuck are we talking about art recession then? So the belief that he then held was there is no art recession. And here's the thing about beliefs. Your beliefs are going to make you seem tone deaf and they're going to make you seem delusional, which is fine because I need you to exist in your world, not in the world. If you want to exist in the world, then keep having these beliefs that are non-conducive to your desired reality and you'll keep experiencing them. But remember, simplistically, your beliefs are a collection of thoughts that you repeatedly experience. One thing that I forgot to mention is with emotional charge that we then internalize to be true. So whatever beliefs, and Just ask yourself this, right? Whether you're looking back at this recording or you're listening to it right now, ask yourself this: what would the version of myself hold as a belief? What beliefs would the version of myself have? Ask yourself that. Write them down and just decide to think them. Think them. For example, say elephant in your head 3 times. Hopefully you've done that. But you see, you just put a thought into your head, right? So it's the same thing with beliefs. And these beliefs will gain motion. It goes from a vibration to a frequency and then eventually to a reality. Emotionally charged thoughts. Oh, forgot to write that down. My brain is literally going to be exhausted after this, by the way. Emotionally charged thoughts. So what thoughts would the version of you think if you was in that degree of reality that you want independently, which is similar to beliefs, but beliefs are a bit more core. Beliefs are a bit more centralized and are a bit more core. These is more independent. What I always recommend taking one thought that reflects your desired reality and just thinking that over and over again. If you want to know my thought that I repeat every single day, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm brushing my teeth, whether I'm showering, whether I'm in the gym, whether I'm in the steam room, whether I'm in the sauna, the one thought that I keep in my head is, I have more money than I can spend. I keep that injecting into my head every single second of every single fucking day. But then that's not enough. Then ask yourself, how would you feel? Whatever your thought is, extrapolate this. If it's romantic, then it can be, I'm so lucky to have this person, whatever it is, right? If it's in your business, singular thought could be, I knew I was going to hit X amount of money. If it's weight, for example, I'm in such great shape. One thought, choose one thought. And then how would you feel if that thought was expressed into reality? Combine it with that emotionally charged thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. What you do in that sense, because like attracts like, you then set in motion your frequency to be resonant with that thought. So then other thoughts that are reflective and on the resonant, I guess, with that frequency are just going to start flooding in. They're going to start flooding in. They're going to start flooding in. They're going to start flooding in. And then at that point, your mind becomes, the mental activity becomes consumed by one thing. So that's emotionally charged thoughts. Your attention or focus. With every situation, the only reason that you're ever going to feel negative feelings, and please remember this, and this is a note to myself as well. The only reason we will ever have a negative feeling in our lives is because we are focusing on an unwanted aspect of polarity that we don't want to experience. We are focusing on an unwanted aspect of polarity that we don't want to experience anytime we have negative emotions. We're focusing on something we don't want. Simplistically, remember, everything is simple, guys. Please don't let the simplicity of this fool you guys and make you guys say, oh yeah, well, that's common sense. No, if it was common sense, you wouldn't be here. So understand what I'm saying. Anytime that we have a negative feeling, it's because more often than not, our focus is misplaced. We misplace our focus all the time to be on things that are non-conducive to our desired reality. I need you to and you don't have a problem focusing. People say, oh, I have a problem focusing. No, the fuck you don't. Nobody has a problem focusing. Our problem is we are unaware of what we're focusing on, unconsciously. After every time me and AJ finish recording, we'll do like maybe 2-3 hours of recordings. We will sit on our phones scrolling through TikToks for God knows how long with each other. That is focus. That is focus. To watch TV shows, that is focus. We're always focusing. We're just unaware of the things that we're focusing on. So you need to begin, when you experience a condition of reality, let's say something pops up that you don't like. If something pops up that you don't like or something that is non-conducive with your desired reality, the mistake that you're making is focusing on the aspect of what represents not your desired reality. Within every single circumstance, and you really have to think deeply about this, within every single circumstance gives you the opportunity for you to focus on an aspect of something that reflects what you want. I can't tell you what that is because I don't know your desired reality, but you're smart enough to do it. every single time. You have to make sure that the things that you focus on, the things that you allow to get your attention, are things that are only reflective of your DR, of your desired reality, each and every single time. So, for example, I used to get bailiffs all the time, bailiffs all the time. If you are American or another country, call them debt collectors all the time. When them niggas would knock on my door and be like, bailiffs, or what do they say? They say, they have an, yeah, they have an official name. Oh, what's their official name? Can you check the chat? Not the Q&A, but check the chat to see if anyone's put like their official name. Enforcement agents. Enforcement. In the UK, they're officially called enforcement agents. They'll be like, enforcement agents. Be like, fuck. Obviously, I'll be hiding like. And I live in an apartment, so it's not even like there's curtains, but I still hide. Like they have X-ray vision. For the longest time, I used to be frustrated at the fact that I have things that I need to pay for that I can't pay for. That's me misplacing my focus. That misplacement of focus, you have to understand that focus is a centralization of energy. You're centralizing your energy into a reality that you don't want. And guess what? Energy builds momentum. It becomes a vibration. Then a vibration becomes a frequency. Then a frequency becomes a reality. Instead, I used to focus on when that nigga would knock on my door and I'd be hiding. I'd be like, damn. At least I have opportunity to pay him. Which sounds almost idiotic to even say. See, AJ said that's ridiculous. It sounds even idiotic to pay. It even sounds idiotic to think. But that's reflective and conducive of a desired reality that I want. And guess what? I can pay them niggas. They don't come around anymore, obviously, because I paid it, but you get my point. You get my point. Identity. Your identity is simply the things that align with what you do and won't do. So, for example, going back to the guy who was talking about simps earlier, let's say a simp is an identity. Simps do certain things. If you don't want to be a simp, you don't do what simps would do. That's your identity. Spider-Man doesn't wear a Batman outfit and fly around. I say that to say, your desired reality requires you for a particular identity. The simplest way that you can gauge your identity of your desired reality is, who is this version of me? Write this down. Write down the question, whether after this webinar or when you're watching it back, you just literally write down those characteristics. Yeah, you'd be fearless. Yeah, you'd be courteous. You'd be considerate, etc., etc. Mold yourself an identity. Once you have that identity molded out, then anything that doesn't align with that identity, you don't do. For example, AJ, do you kiss men?
Hell no.
Of course, because that doesn't align with his identity. But if someone did kiss men, it's because they aligns with their identity. We all do things in this reality that align with our identity. For example, I don't shoot people because that doesn't align with my identity. AJ's giving me side eyes. I don't do that anymore. That doesn't align with my identity. You have to, because this is really for you. You have to create a clear vision, which is most of the time an issue that people don't have. A clear vision on what that version of you in that particular desired reality would be like. Like I said, note down their characteristics. Once you do that, you form an identity. Then you have to make sure each and every single day, please guys, one simple thing that will check. When I say this to all my clients in our second session. By the third session, these guys start manifesting shit. I kid you not. And it's because I get them to realize this one thing. So please, because to the guy that said, can Nero, do one-to-one Black Friday? You don't need that if you just listen to what I'm about to say. Because I get this to do my clients. So if any of my clients are in here, I'm sorry, man. Your perception is directly tied to your projection. Your perception is directly tied to your projection. The way that you look at life will be the way that life looks at you. And until you change the way you look at life, life won't change the way it looks at you. And once you begin to look at life through the lens of the identity of the individual in your desired reality, life will look back at you as the individual of that identity, and then things will begin to manifest for you. So with my clients, I say we always give them names, whether it's Mr. Opulent, whether it's Mr. Impact, whether it's Lady Affluent, whether it's Master Manifestor. Choose your own name, nigga. Like I'm not gonna get you to do that. Let's say Nero, because that's not my name. But let's say Nero. I would say, how would Nero look at this? How would Nero react to this? What would Nero say here? Because then you're putting on the lenses of your desired reality. And the way that you look at life is the way life looks back at you. And when you look at life from the version of you in your desired reality, life will look at you as if you're in your desired reality. I can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. Moods and attitudes. Your attitude, in a sense, is your emotional response to things. Some people have a bad attitude, it's a bad emotional response to a particular circumstance. What would be the attitude of the version of you in that desired reality? If they make hella money and something breaks and you need to spend £100 or $100 to get it fixed, are you going to be like, fuck? Probably not. But once again, these are things that you're going to have to train yourself out of, because you're training yourself out of one frequency into another. Yeah, 5 levels of frequency. And once you do that, that should lead to a specific frequency. That specific frequency then has to become a reality as you see above. So make sure each one of these things are ticked off and they're all in direct unison. Your belief should match up with your emotionally charged thoughts. Your emotionally charged thoughts should match up with your attention. Your attention should match with your identity. Your identity should match with your moods and attitudes. It's about emotionally responding instead of emotionally reacting. To react is to allow the external to alter the internal. So to make the world make you feel a type of way. No, you need to feel a type of way to make the world be different. And that's what the difference is. So before you react to some bullshit that normally would have caught you out before, you need to think to yourself, how would the version of me look at this? How would they respond to this? Take time. Take time with it. Relax. And then frame it through that lens. And then move from there. AJ, shoot me some questions while we move on to the next thing.
I can't pronounce this person's name, but they said it just.
You turn on your thing, your mic.
Good shot. Yeah, I said I can't pronounce this person's name, but they just said it just clicked for them. But they had a question. I'm asking you anyway.
They said it just clicked.
Yeah.
Of course it just clicked. We're going crazy.
So they asked, I love what you're saying about needing to align one's mental plane to your desired reality. Can you give us some examples how one can rewire their brain to reflect that?
Oh, I just did that with 5 levels of frequency.
Cool.
By the way, 5 levels of frequency can also be 5 levels of mental activity. It's all the same thing. 5 levels of consciousness, because those are the characteristics or the attributes to which your consciousness is made out of. So that's interchangeable with that. But if you have a different question, just drop it, and then when we get down to it, I'll look at it.
They also said I'm constantly having fake conversations in my head. Worst case scenarios, for example, getting into fake fights with my soul in my head. Is it as simple as emotionally attaching to the outcome I want?
It's as simple as not giving any attention to the reality that you don't want.
Cool.
So when that pops up, literally say no thanks. Literally say no thanks and start focusing on the reality that you want. Guys, it's really that simple.
Nati Salam said, could you say that the internet is the physical manifestation of the universal mind?
That's fucking amazing. Whoever said that's a fucking genius. Yeah.
Minvo said, how do you make it so your thoughts are emotionally charged?
How do you make it so oh, yes, you make it that your thoughts are emotionally charged. Just think to yourself. So let's say you choose a thought, for example, like mine, I have more money than I can spend. Then ask yourself, after you've thought that, how would I feel if I actually had more money than I could spend? Then those emotions are going to pop up. Then you combine it with the thought. Next. Just try it. You'll see.
How do I change the mental plane? David Chapman.
That's what we just did in 5 levels of frequency or 5 levels of consciousness.
Anonymous attendee. With regards to the cheating, how do you get past someone cheating on you and knowing it has to be exposed and then still wanting to be with them? It is, in brackets, it is my ex, and it turns out that for a while we've been reconnecting since August 2024. I found out he has been in a relationship since March 2024. I know that it does have to be exposed for various reasons, but I also know that I still love that person, and I know he is still mine.
I don't understand that question. I'm so sorry. Could you read that again?
Basically, with regards to cheating, how do you get past someone cheating on you knowing that it should be exposed and you still want to be with them? And they basically told a story.
So they got cheated on by the person. Now he's in a relationship.
And
and
then,
they want to expose them.
yeah, but she's getting back with this person, or they're getting back with this person.
I have
They're
no
in a
idea. I'm so
relationship.
sorry. Relationship stuff. That's not what I do. But what I would say from a metaphysical standpoint is that clearly with this person, there's a certain level of disharmony within. It's clearly unsettled, or it wouldn't be bothering you. So have the conversation that you want to have with him in person, internally, in the exact same way that you want. So maybe in your head you're thinking, "Fuck you, you cheater, you piece of shit," and all this other stuff in your head, and you're probably giving it to him bare in your head or her. But what I need you to do is to actually have harmonious conversations in your mind mentally. So then externally, it has the ability to be expressed in a way that reflects your internally. Because right now, there's a certain level of dissettlement and potentially frustration and annoyance, maybe. And that annoyance and frustration will then have the ability to affect things elsewhere. So, yeah.
Simone said, Nero, regarding to your stripe experience, I'm going through the same thing at the moment regarding buying a car. You mentioned that all of a sudden your money was released. Can you tell me what exactly you changed mentally, what dominant emotionally charged thought you
I
changed into
thought
the
the exact
money?
same things that I would think if the situation had unfolded the way that I want. Sorry, I'm doing this, guys. I've literally been standing for like 3 hours. So in your car situation, if your car situation was to manifest the way that you want, what are the thoughts that you would think in that situation? Take those thoughts that you think are destinations and realize they're actually prerequisites to getting to the destination. That's a bar. I need to write that down.
How, how do I change my mentally charged thoughts, which are fearful and negative, um, intrusive thoughts, to positive awareness of my
First of all, nothing
world?
wrong with intrusive thoughts. When people ride past me on bikes, I think, what if I kick this nigga off his bike right now? That's just because the nature of thoughts are intrusive. Anyways, remember, we're all connected to some type of universal library. That doesn't mean it's just enlightenment that's coming your way. That's mean it's also dark, intrusive thoughts. So the first thing that you need to do is understand that those thoughts aren't yours. You're experiencing them because you're a device that's connected to Wi-Fi. That doesn't mean that you have to respond to every notification that comes through to your phone. That's a bar. I need to write that down. But then simultaneously, when you're talking about experiencing this degree of fear or negative emotions, then you simply need to look for the polarities of that. So if you're fearful over the thoughts you're having, take the thoughts that you're having and look for the polarity of courage that is within them because it's hidden, and hyperfixate on that. When you hyperfixate out of that, you will shine the darkness out with the light of courage.
Hi, Nero. Is the spiritual plane also considered the ether, or is that the mental plane?
Ether is the mental plane. Next.
Rosie said, how to be more receptive to the universal intelligence. Like, I know it can't be random. I think it is to maintain a high frequency, but is there still a chance
That depends on your
not to get
definition of
vibe?
maintaining a high frequency, Rosie. A lot of people's definition of maintaining a high frequency is drinking these green juices that I was just drinking. But no, high frequency is a high level of awareness. So if you want to be in a particular degree of receptivity, then actually just enter receptivity by saying that I am open mentally. Let's see what comes your way.
Anthony Wong said, relationship between active imagination and detachment and confidence in the desired reality. I go on walks and use active imagination until I feel emotionally charged in the outcome, feel satisfied, don't really want it anymore because I truly believe I have it. But I feel like I constantly imagine that one thing so much it becomes needy. How do I balance the importance while doing imagination
That's
techniques?
a good question. So what the imagination techniques are naturally going to do, they're going to decrease your importance because the more that you experience it within, the more your mind is convinced that you already have it. When your mind is convinced that it has it, the less it will need it without. So don't worry about being needy. You're not being needy. Keep doing the emotional techniques that you do until you feel like there's nothing left to give. And you'll know what I mean energetically and emotionally when nothing's coming up and you're visualizing or trying and just nothing. Then you're just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. And then at that point, that's when it's going to collapse because what you're doing is actually depleting your importance because your mind is believing that it's already experiencing it.
Um, Nati Salam said, what was that Ivan Antic book you showed?
Come on, bro. I held that book for like 30 seconds. If you see this, just screenshot it now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's called The Process of Realization by Ivan Antic. A detailed description of the process of every kind of realization, the law of attraction, quantum field. If you used to see the inside of this book,
Someone said I was staring at your buff palms. Sorry.
I've got bare annotations. I don't know if the camera focus, but
Yeah, we
it's
can.
literally underlined. I've even got drawing. I really pick up. Look at that drawing. I literally pick apart books. AJ, look at this.
That's
I
crazy.
literally pick apart books when I read them.
Sarah Bone, I can't pronounce that last name. Sarah said, I never believed in God slash my own divinity. Trying to develop faith in that now. You are helping, but how to have faith?
So, well, it depends on your definition of faith, which I'm going to get into in this next segment. So your question will be answered.
David said, can you give us book recommendations from one to the last to understand better everything?
No, I'm not going to give you hella book recommendations. I'll give you the core ones that are important. I would say there's 20 books that I just reread over and over again, but I'll give you a couple because you don't need all of them. I'll give you the most crucial ones, just like that Ivan Antic one.
Cynthia said, is letting go and letting God the same as not wanting something or assuming that what you
No, no,
want you
no, no, no,
already
no, no,
have?
no, no. That's not the same at all. Letting go is you understanding that you can't do anything more than what you can do physically, and then allowing the preconceived mental equivalent that you've entered to then be taken by the infinite intelligence or God and letting them do it. It's getting yourself out the way.
She also said, when I try to let
Which
go,
actually, sorry to cut you off, AJ, which actually happens when you're trying for something really, really bad and you just get to the point where you're frustrated, you're like, you know what, fuck it, I don't give a fuck anymore, I give up. And then all of a sudden, it kind of unfolds. And that's what we're describing here.
She also said, when I try to let go, I get in the mindset of telling the universe I no longer care, nor want the thing that I
No, no,
want.
no, no. It's not about not caring. It's about saying it's done. It's done by something greater than me. As Jesus said, I and the Father are one, but he's greater than I.
Kevin said, what is the difference between the infinite in the spiritual plane and the infinite in the mental plane, or
No
is it the
different, no
same?
difference at all. It's the same.
Vanessa said, how do I acquire me the six-figure How do I acquire me have six-figure business starting from now since I free myself from mental slavery?
Well, it's the 5 levels. I'm assuming some of these questions are a bit far back in it.
Yeah,
If at any point
we'll
you
catch
feel
up.
like I missed a question or I didn't answer your question, just put it again. But most of these things that I'm being asked, I kind of already just went through them. For example, the 5 levels of frequency or consciousness. If you literally do that in reflection of your 6 figures of what you're saying, that's your desired reality. Make sure that your beliefs are aligned, your emotionally charged thoughts, your moods and attitudes, your attentions, your identity and beliefs.
Uh, Andrea said, "Hey Nero, based on the correct order, is the mental plane the highest level of consciousness, or is it the spiritual plane?"
I don't want to say it's the highest, and that's not nothing for you to worry about. I understand if you want to understand it intellectually, but in when it comes to I just want to say when it comes to manifestation, it doesn't affect it. But I can't say it's the highest. I mean, it depends. It depends who you're talking to. These are different schools of thoughts. There's some people that say it's the spiritual plane. There's some people that say it's the mental plane. Me personally, I would say it's the mental plane simply because it's the first hermetic law, which is the universe is mental. And actually, our minds actually affect spirituality. For example, a lot of people actually attract themselves what they'd consider demons or negative spirits or negative entities based upon their mind being a beacon for those things to come find them based upon the configuration of their beliefs, identity, attention, emotional conviction, emotionally charged thoughts, which outputs a frequency, which is the energetic signature that that entity might match for. And this works positively and negatively. So I'd say mental.
Rohin said, "How to distinguish between our emotional volatility and the law of polarity." Is that right?
You're not supposed to be emotionally volatile. You're supposed to be emotionally stable. Because if you're emotionally volatile, that the universe will have you marked that as its bitch. And anytime it wants to make you happy, it will make you really happy. But to the same degree that it can bring you in happiness and excitement, it knows it can simultaneously bring you down to the depths of annoyance, frustration, pain, and sadness. So I need you to be in the middle. I need you to be midpoint, stable, neutral as much as you can in the negatives and in the positives, because that's true transcendence of duality when you're so neutral that you see everything as one.
Chantel said, How do I manifest an idea? My desired reality is to
Relax, you
realize
gents.
relax. My desired reality is to realize my life purpose and that it generates great wealth for me. But I don't know what I am to do and have been waiting for
Enter
the
the mental
download.
world. Enter the mental world that you are living in your purpose and you're making money and you're wealthy in the way that you want. And then if you go to the process of what I was describing earlier of action, the things you're compelled to do, intuition, frequency. When you're in the right frequency, I'll give you the right intuition. When you're in the right intuition, it will compel you to do the right things. When you're compelled to do the right things, you'll take action. What you think is an end is a starting location.
Davin Williams says, side question, what strategies do you have to read faster with good retention,
I
if
don't
any?
have strategies to read faster, my guy. I'm sorry.
Unlucky, bro. Del
I
Shay
just I just read.
Del Shay said, can trusting intuition be uncomfortable at times? And if so, does it have to be, or can the journey or process the desired reality be enjoyable the whole time?
It is going to be uncomfortable because you're taking the logic out your mind, out the way, because intuition is directly opposed to logic. So you're going to feel like a dumbass, you're going to feel crazy. But when you're compelled to do something and you can hear it, do it.
Uh, Caleb said, should you only hold the frequency of one thing? I understand the frequency needs to be extremely
I'd always
strong.
recommend focusing on one thing at a time. That's just me personally. I don't believe in the
Mm,
idea of people focusing on multiple things at once because you're spreading your frequency across six different avenues as opposed to being able to pour into one thing.
perfect.
Try manifest something that kind of has a drop down effect into these other things that you want. Sorry, AJ.
Anonymous attendee said, do other people have free will?
Complicated question. To a degree, yes, and to a degree, no. That's my answer.
Clayton said, what does it truly mean to persist, maintain your ideal frequency?
It means to understand and detach yourself from eyesight and step by mind sight. So your eyes, you may be shown something in reality that may scare you, or something that is opposite to the desired reality that you want to enter, or something that is non-conducive to the reality that you want to enter, something that you don't like. That is what you may experience in physical around you as as an experience. But to persist means that you hold your desired reality and do what I said earlier, which is to respond instead of react. And instead of allowing the external to alter the internal, you go from the internal to alter the external. This thing is
Um,
on, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. This person said, how do you achieve that definition of manifestation such that without seeing reality change or not type of
You
thing?
internally experience your desired reality vividly and emotionally. As somebody asked earlier when he was talking about when he's walking and doing so on and so forth, you use these techniques to create emotional conviction in your desired reality. And that emotional energy is exactly that is exactly that. Once you continuously experience again and again and again and again, you're no longer going to need to see reality change because you felt everything you would feel upon it manifesting internally already.
Vanessa said, I want to be the number one concierge service in London. How can I tap in more?
Just do everything that I'm telling you to do in this masterclass. But
Anon-
remember, that is your goal. Your goal actually is your starting location.
uh,
And then you'll be led to take certain degrees of action that will be reflective of things that will get you into that desired reality.
David just said in the chat, there are 5 book Nero recommends in his site. Kabbalion, Parallel Universe, Three Magic Words, The Magician Way,
Oh, there you go.
Neville Goddard, Complete
There you
Reader.
go. I literally have a website full of like
Jeez,
articles, nearly 100 articles in depth surrounding manifestation, literally neuroknowledge.com.
serious. Anonymous Intendee said, I already asked these questions via email because I'll be dropping off the call before it ends. Here are the questions.
Perfect.
Do you pray? If so,
Yes, prayer is mental.
what does prayer mean to you?
Prayer is a mental declaration. So people think prayer is a verbal declaration. God, please, can I have a job? While the whole time they're not believing they're going to get a job and stepping in the mental declaration that they don't have a job, and then their prayer is answered. Next.
If you've got an interesting interpretation of biblical verses, is there any books you've read that allows us to interpret them the way you do?
Yes, anything by Emmett Fox. I'll just write down the names. Emmett Fox, Emmet Fox, Emmett Fox, Ernest Holmes, Ernest Holmes with an L in the middle. Holmes. Um, Neville Goddard is okay. Bill Donahue on YouTube. Bill Donahue. Bill Donahue on YouTube. Reverend Ike on YouTube, and William Walker Atkinson, who's wrote a book called Esoteric Christianity or Mystic Christianity or something along those lines. We actually need to like pick up because I don't want this
Yeah,
Zoom to end. If you set a time for a Zoom to end, does it end at that time?
I don't. Mine doesn't.
Are you sure?
Well, mine doesn't. Well, mine just assumed though. It's
Because
just like a
I said it
webinar.
for 3 hours. I don't know.
I don't know what you said this as,
I
bro.
don't know. Okay, let me.
Okay.
We'll come back to the questions. I'm not trying to be talking and then it cuts. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I get through all the material and then go through the questions after. But somebody asked earlier, how do I activate in spiritual plane? There's three important words that you need to understand when it comes to manifestation. That is conviction, serene confidence. Are you searching? Oh,
No, it's happening.
oh shit. I think I triggered my Siri. Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Conviction, serene confidence, and relaxation. These words are absolutely mandatory to any form of manifestation. Conviction. Conviction is when you know. It's not important for you to believe your desired reality. You need to know your desired reality. How do I know, Nero? Decide that you know. It's weird. We have these random moments where we feel like we know something's going to happen. We feel like we know we're going to see somebody we know outside today. We know something's going to this. We know something's going to that. Knowing is the true definition of faith. Somebody asked about faith earlier. Our definition, modern day definition of faith is trust. But trust isn't the true definition of faith. If you go to the word faith, etymological origins, you get a word called fides. Fides was associated with conviction. That's when nobody can convince you otherwise. You need to get to a point where nobody can convince you otherwise that your manifestation is here. How do I do that, Nero? You need to build serene confidence. How do I build serene confidence, Nero? I'll tell you how. Confidence is built via self-trust. The issue is confidence is one of those words in manifestation that you can't ignore. If you don't have confidence in your ability to manifest, what's wrong?
Someone just said, please adjust the time.
Please address the time.
Adjust the time.
I'll see if we can. I'll see if we can because I just don't want this to end. At I don't mind it going beyond because obviously there's lots of questions, but I don't know if Zoom the setting is going to. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, the way that you build self trust is very simple. Doing what you know you need to do. So if you know that you got shown your to-do list to do, if you know that you gotta go to the gym X amount of times, if you know that you gotta eat this food and not eat this food, if you know that you don't like drinking or smoking, then don't do it. If you know you have to do this, then do it. If you know you don't have to do that, then don't do it. And I say that because self-trust is a currency that is converted into confidence. Confidence is then built up and stored, and then you have the ability to gain a certain level of conviction. Conviction seems random, but it's not. It's built upon self-trust, which is built upon confidence, which is then turning into conviction. Serenity. It's not about being boastfully confident and saying that, yeah, and acting all like that. It's actually a certain degree of serenity. And that serenity can only exist if you're in a state of relaxation. How do I get to a state of relaxation, Nero? You need to make sure that you're doing things that continuously relax you. Pause. And whatever that may be, you need to make sure that you're in a constant state of relaxation. Now, I can't tell you how to go about that. I can tell you to meditate, I can tell you to read, but it's going to be personal to you. Whether that's going on a fucking walk, whether that's going on a long drive, whether that's going for a massage, whether that's just chilling with your family, there's going to be certain things that relax you personally because relaxation then triggers your brain into operating into 4 to 8 hertz. 4 to 8 hertz is also considered theta. Theta is the bridge to the subconscious mind. It's a brainwave state that you experience when you're sleepy. That brainwave state is the bridge to the subconscious mind. That subconscious mind, if you're always in a state of relaxation, then that means we're always keeping your subconscious mind open. And if you go to the 5 levels before, you're then always going to make sure you're putting things into your subconscious mind. Things always going into your subconscious mind then sets in motion for that to materialize into your reality. Those are the 3 mandatories for manifestation. Now, there's 2 more parts to offense. 2 more parts. Shoot a question at me while I'm wiping the board.
That same person.
If someone's asking 2 questions in a row, try get someone else.
Say no more. Someone say, can I change my desired reality if I visualize and emotionally change my thoughts every night before going to sleep, or do you recommend silence?
Recommend silence in your mind instead. Is your mic on, by the way, AJ?
It's funny, they all said in the chat, yo,
yeah, read
the question again?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me and can you hear AJ?
I need to find it again. Oh, can I change my desired reality if I visualize and emotionally charge my thoughts every night
What do you
before
mean
going to
change your
sleep?
desired reality? Do you mean change your reality? I'm assuming it means change reality. If that's
Yeah,
your,
yeah.
then
I'm
yes.
guessing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You answered it, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Next person. I have a CMOS business, which I am only making sales from DMS and word of mouth. How can I drive sales on my website mainly? How can I
Instead of thinking what do I need to do to get more sales, ask yourself who do I need to be who would deserve more sales. And what I mean by that, I mean that from a point of vibration. Who do I need to be for the universe to interpret me as somebody who's already got a lot of sales? Then do everything after. Remember, correct arrangement on the mental plane first, then the spiritual, then the physical. Right now, you're making the mistake that everybody makes, which is prioritizing the physical first and thinking, what more do I need to do to get more sales in my business? Do I need to go on a website? Do I need to chat to more people, do more marketing? No, that's a mistake. You need to arrange yourself as somebody who's already having sales first, and then allow the intuition and the compellings to then get you to do the correct action that will lead you to more sales.
you mentioned spiritual, mental, and physical alignment. I understand the physical actions and the mental actions, such as mastering your emotions and meditating. But what are some spiritual actions? Are fasting and meditating spiritual, mental, or both?
Both.
You mentioned making thoughts emotionally charged. Is there a technique to achieve this?
Ask yourself, how would I feel if this thought was a reality? And then you'll describe it. You'll say, how would this thought feel if I was making X amount of money? Wow, I feel free. I feel calm. I feel relaxed. Those are the three emotions that you've now stated that you're going to feel. Then allow yourself to feel them internally. And if you're struggling, then think back to a memory where you experienced those emotions where you felt amazing and certain emotions, whether it's a childhood memory where you felt free, whether you felt calm, whether you felt blessed, whether you felt loved, and then take that emotion and quickly switch to your desired reality. That's what I call stealing emotion from one memory and putting it into another.
You want more?
Yeah.
If the physical plane is frozen imagination, then does trying to change your frequency in this moment in time matter for now or the future? Because how does
Yes,
that
because
function?
reality is always being created from your consciousness. So what you're seeing around you is a delayed creation. You need to start now. So by the time the delay comes in, things will begin to change. Next.
Is there any way to intentionally create emotional charge by will to go by our thoughts?
No, you cannot create emotional charge via will. Will is trying to force things. No, I just explained how to create emotional charge in the question before that.
What's your opinion on karma?
Irrelevant to this whole masterclass. But you niggas already know that I don't believe in karma. And I could talk about it, but there'd be no tangible benefits that you get from me saying to you that I don't believe in karma. The universe doesn't adhere to karma. If a baby was on top of a building and it fell off, no angel, no God would stop the air and stop them from being hit. They would hit the ground like the most evil pedophile that eats people. And I say that because that's the most evil example of a person that I could think of, right? That person would hit the ground the same way the baby would. The universe doesn't adhere to karma. It doesn't adhere to the idea that morality gives you some type of privilege. The nicest niggas you know would get shocked by electricity to death like the most evil niggas you know. Nothing about our world indicates any degree of karma or morality as such, because if it was to do that, then it'd get very technical as we start bringing certain things up. But I'll say this, as far as karma, karma doesn't exist. What exists is you being a reflection of me. So what I do to you has the potentiality to come onto me. Does that mean if I punch AJ is going to punch me back potentially? But no, because that's how people look at karma. That means my physical act of punching AJ set in motion. I've punched myself. So now I can experience anything that's within the frequency of that. But it also is largely dependent upon the belief of karma in of itself, because your mind is the highest order of priority in the universe. Next.
Can I cure ADHD using the Akashic record or
I have no
infinite
idea. I'm just
intelligence
going to
for a
be honest
friend?
with you. I have no idea. I have no idea.
David said, I remember when I made the most money in my life by really physically hard work. I was working 12 to 14 hours a day. Since then, I said, fuck that, started working less and trying to find the thing I can make the most money from. But I'm just losing money from those courses and can't find the right thing
because
to do.
because because you still believe that hard, because even the way you said that, right, you still have this belief that hard work is what produces money, and so long as you have that belief, you're going to have to work hard to make money. I need you to switch that belief to an idea that reflects what it is that you want right now. So I don't have to work that hard and I can still make money. Start with that belief. Remember, the end is the beginning. Next.
The issue is, how do we get into the frequency of our desire? Do you mind giving a step-by-step example?
I
Thank
already
you.
did that with the 5 levels of energy. Next.
You sort of explained revision by Neville Goddard there. Can you elaborate more on that?
Which part?
I have no idea. That's what they said.
Reiterate, please. Sorry.
Someone else said, "What
I'm
are your?"
assuming the trauma part, there's not really much more to emphasize because you practically understand it. It's the idea that the subconscious mind doesn't adhere to time. The subconscious mind doesn't adhere to time, which means the past is playing in your head right now. The trauma that may have occurred to you in the past is playing right now. But because time doesn't exist, you can actually go into your subconscious mind and rewrite that experience through the fact that the mind can't distinguish between false and real, imagination and reality. And because of that, you can overwrite it and then actually overwrite that memory to experience a different frequency in your reality, which has to materialize. Next.
What are your thoughts on revision/detachment? How far back can you revise?
You can go back as far as you want. Next. And I just gave my opinion in the question before.
I'm going to work with you. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I will pay for your game. I can maybe pay for a one-on-one call.
You
That's
don't
cool, Mr. Nero.
you don't have to. You don't have to. You're more than fine with this, trust me.
Someone said, all right, this is a deep question, but fuck it. I recently got herpes and initially fucked me up, but I'm now good mentally and I believe that this has made me mentally stronger. However, this doesn't only concern me. I have to disclose this to future partners, which may lead to rejection. Do you have any thoughts on handling this? P.S.
Get into a frequency where you have convinced yourself that you're with somebody that wouldn't be an issue. And then you'll attract somebody, and then when you tell them, it won't be as big as a deal. The issue is if you think it's a big deal right now, and in your head it's this terrible thing, then you're going to attract an experience and materialize an experience where you encounter somebody who's going to reflect that back to you. It's less to do with them and more to do with you. Next.
Does subliminal work Does subliminal work to assist in embedding ideas in
If you believe it does. Next.
in reality transurfing? Vadim talks about free energy that takes away from us. Later, with interest, when we use things that alter our state, like alcohol, coffee, drugs, etc. You said in one of your videos that if it's only if we believe it, is that true?
Yeah. But you can believe me or Vladimir, it doesn't really matter.
Is there no
Or Vadim,
validity?
sorry.
Is there no validity to alcohol giving me a hangover the next day?
No, alcohol would definitely give you a hangover the next day. But as far as manifestation, no, it doesn't affect it. Because I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of degenerates that are in their desired realities. So,
Any books on the 5 levels of frequency?
yes, actually. Next question.
Can you give us some defense things for our frequency?
I'm going to get into the defense, which is straight after this portion right here. This is good for the 5 levels of consciousness or mind or energy. He kind of talks about it. Yeah. Yeah, that's done now. I held that for like 20 seconds. Next.
how to be more how to be more receptive to the universal intelligence. Like, I know it can't be random. I think it is to maintain a high frequency, but there's still a chance not to get it right.
You guys need to stop this hyperfixation on maintaining a high frequency. It's not about how you feel, it's not about what you eat or anything. It's about a high level of awareness. What?
No, someone said again, please. I missed it.
Missed what?
The book, I'm guessing.
Brother, I'm just gonna say this now, guys. When I hold a book, screenshot it. If you miss it, it's gone. You're gonna have to watch it back in the recording.
Nero, do you now have more money than you can spend? I'm asking because I'm curious to know where you are in your journey of realizing and living your desired reality.
I held that for long enough, innit?
You held that for 1 night.
Say that again.
Do you now have more money than you can spend? I'm asking because I'm curious to know where you are in your journey of realizing and
I don't really talk about money, but let's say this. There's nothing that I couldn't buy if I wanted it. There's not a single shop I could walk in and not buy anything that I don't want.
How can I maximize meditation with building the strength of connection with the spiritual plane?
I don't even know what that means. How can you maximize what?
How can I maximize meditation with building the strength of connection with the spiritual plane?
Just keep meditating. Just keep meditating. I understand what you're saying, but you kind of answered the question that you already gave an answer to. Meditation is what's going to be maximizes your spiritual strength because it's a particular degree of a spiritual act. So keep immersing yourself into that infinite consciousness, assuming that that's what you're doing. You're meditating. You're doing it right.
Someone said there's an interview I saw where Joe Dispenza goes into detail about how the mind can make you sick, and if it can make you sick, then it can heal you as well.
Yeah.
By the way, I think that's Estefania. I think he's typing that to host and panelists, so that's not to everyone. So only like.
So you just read out her whole thing.
So only we can see that. I don't
But
know if she wants that to be public.
you just read out her whole life, yeah? You're just putting people's private information on blast.
That's not private,
Government
bro.
name and all.
That's the name she got on there, bro.
Let me drop this segment first here. There's a
Well,
magic E of the universe, and I've never spoke about this. I spoke about the magic M, but the magic E of the universe, AJ might turn this into a video.
I've never heard you speak about this.
Of course, the magic E of the universe that you have to understand is expectation. Because a large part of your frequency, and I missed this in the characteristics, you can just add it, right? It's not a key component, but it's foundational. Your expectation, and this actually comes from a book. So let me give you this book, and you're not going to believe what type of book I'm recommending. You're probably going to be like, what? Ah,
I don't know how
no,
you're
no,
gonna
no,
apply
no,
this.
no, 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 no. Where is it? 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 No, 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 no. Did I borrow it to somebody? Ah, no, perfect. I was going to say I didn't borrow that book to anybody. This book is called The Wizard Within by Krasner. Don't you niggas ask me hold up the book again after I hold it up. Krasner, The Wizard Within.
Still in plastic.
It's a condition.
Jeez.
That's been long enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
So look, that's the book. It's signed as well. Anyways, Krasner is a hypnotist. He's one of the world's first hypnotists. Hypnotism is very real because all hypnotism is getting your brain into an altered state of consciousness. All hypnotism is getting your mind, your brain into the state of consciousness of theta, the bridge to the subconscious. And part of what he says is part of hypnosis is expectation, because our expectation comes with what we were speaking about prior, which is knowing. When you expect something, you know it's going to happen. You flip on a light switch, you expect it to turn on. You know it. That's the same degree that you need to have for your manifestation, because expectation also ties in with something that's very important, what you find normal. The issue is you find your current reality normal and your desired reality is abnormal. But you actually need to normalize your desired reality in order for it to then be something that you expect. And I'll give you an example. You know, when I used to work with the women, for example, who wanted to manifest partners, I'd say, you expect your partner to cheat on you. And they'd be like, no, I don't. No, I don't. And I'd be like, okay, but if you got with a guy and he started being trash and he cheated on you, would you be shocked? And they'd be like, no. The things that you find normal and the things that you expect unconsciously. The reality that you're in right now, it's probably an unwanted condition of reality. So let's say broke nigga shit. We expect problems. When you're in the ghetto, you expect problems. You expect the debt collector to knock in the morning. You expect a bill to come through that you couldn't. And what you actually do without realizing is normalizing an unwanted condition of reality. Because the magic M of the universe is expectation. And you need to cultivate expectation for your desired reality already existing. But you're going to have to cross something that's very important. This is a bridge. That's a pretty good bridge in it.
What? If you can't draw to save your life, bro.
Desired reality is over here, and you are here. In order for you to get to your desired reality, you need to cross a bridge. And that bridge is disappointment. There's been moments in the past where you expected things to happen and it didn't work. And each and every single time, you're essentially saying, fuck, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? You expected things to go a certain way that it didn't. And because of that, you actually disappoint yourself. And there's a certain level of disappointment that is in your mind when it comes to trying to expect something to be any other way. You expect it to be better, it doesn't work. But I need you to cross that bridge of disappointment and be willing to put yourself in a degree where you're disappointing yourself again. That's you walking. I don't know why it looks like that.
Jesus.
I'm not an artist, man. I'm not an artist. But you need to be willing to have your heart disappointed again to get to your desired reality, because expectation is knowing. Knowing is plus normalization. You need to normalize your desired reality in a way that you don't see it no longer as something that's on a pedestal, but you see it as something that is normal, and you even begin to take it for granted through expectation. And there's a story in the Bible where, what prophet was it? Elijah. The prophet Elijah was he was advising for a king. The king was like, yo, go chat to your God, make sure everything's good for this war. So then the issue was there was a drought at the time, and the horses, the animals couldn't be fed, and the soldiers couldn't be fed. So God, as Elijah went and spoke to God, God said, listen, you're in the desert, there's a drought, but I want you to dig holes as if it's going to rain. I said, what? Dig holes as if it's going to rain. Isaiah went and told them, said, dig holes. They expected rain, even though there was nothing inside that could have particularly indicated it was going to rain. And then guess what? It rained, the holes were filled in the ground, and then they were able to drink and they ended up winning the war. That's a simplistic overview on expectation. Now, I'm going to give you the technique on how I manifest and the technique that I give my clients and they think essentially what they pay me for. So, and this is very simplistic. And then we'll move on to your defense because that's practically it. Cool. So the technique, bear in mind, the technique doesn't matter. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm telling you what my clients pay me to do for them. That's this. So don't come at me talking about, oh, affirmations. What about affirmations? There is no secret technique. The only technique is the one that you decide is going to work because it's the energy that is activated within the technique, which is based upon your belief. People talk about placebo effects. Reality is a placebo. So what I say to them is obviously define your desired reality. Then kiss. Not kiss me, but keep it super simple. And what we're going to be keeping super simple is what we get them to visualize, because that's what I use. So I get them to visualize a short scene that is less than 5 seconds to which they are celebrating, well, really and truly being congratulated. Then repeat and loop the scene until you feel like you are straining. So quite simple overview. Decide what it is that you want to materialize. I can't tell you what that is. You can. Then manifest the scene to which you are with somebody that you truly love and somebody who cares for you and somebody who'd be happy to see you win. And they're congratulating you on materializing what it is that you want. Keep it less than 5 seconds. Make sure you hug. Make sure you feel their hug. Make sure you see the excitement on their face and the excitement in their voice. And once you're feeling that hug, attempt to actually feel it to a degree of such intensity. And that what that is going to do, because this is an emotional experience, is going to generate emotional charge. Then you loop this over and over again until you feel like you're beginning to strain yourself and have effort. It is literally that simple. There's nothing crazy to it. There's nothing crazy to it.
Someone said their 5-second scene is thank you, Nero, for the baby oil.
Whoever said that. Yo, that's hilarious. Now we can move on to defense, protecting the frequency of your desired reality. I'm not your friend.
It's currently 3:15, by the way.
Will the Zoom shut down, fam?
I asked ChatGPT and it gave me mixed answers.
Swear.
It said if you set a duration, yes. But if you just set like a time that it ends, no. I was like, what's the difference?
Literally, what's the difference? Hey, we'll see anyways.
Ish.
Cool. Give me some questions.
For desired reality, is it the same way for self-confidence and also physical changes? For example, losing weight, feeling well rested even though you slept horribly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there isn't a timeline, but what's a good measure of time to know that you still need to fix your process for what works?
What do you mean? I don't understand that question. Ask that question again, sorry.
What's a good measure of time to know that you still need to fix your process for what
Yeah, I wasn't
works?
talking to you. I was saying he needs to ask that
No, I
question
was trying to
again.
understand
Or
it.
she, because I don't understand that.
Do you think you can manifest multiple things at once? Also, will you be discussing EIYPO? Was it?
EIYPO. EPO. What's that?
I know, bro.
I recommend manifesting one thing at once. And I don't know what EYPO is. It sounds like some militia organization.
Can trusting intuition be uncomfortable at
I've
times?
already been
And
asked that, and yes.
cool. Hi, Nero. My friend suffers from mental illnesses, depression, anxiety. She gets upset when I try to offer her these schools of consciousness and request that I validate the way her mind works, even though I may not agree with it. I told her that this goes against my beliefs and I do not want to coddle madness. What is your take on this information and how do we deal with loved ones with mental illness?
Different frequencies. You're not dealing with people, you're dealing with frequencies. And when somebody's on a particular frequency, you can't take them out of it, which is actually something I'm going to be touching on here. So,
Want another one?
yeah.
Could you not fuse the desired reality and make it one like identity has many parts, but it's one?
Sounds, I can't lie, that just sounds overcomplicated, bro.
I don't even know what that means. Ever since I've watched you, I've become more confident. I've been stepping into my desired reality more often. Because of this, I experience evil eye a lot more frequency.
Well, no, if you can't be experiencing evil eye if you've been watching my videos, nigga, because I'll tell you right now, evil eye isn't something that we adhere to over here.
They said, EPO never got it. Everyone is you pushed out. Everyone is you pushed out.
I mean, that's not Neville Goddard, that's Jesus Christ. In fact, that's not even Jesus Christ, that's Krishna. But yeah, I get the point of what you're saying.
Uh, if the physical plane is frozen imagination, then
Don't tell me the
just
questions are from that far back.
no.
Oh, okay.
We're actually gone down. Then does trying to change your frequency in this moment in time matter for now or the future? Because how is the
Yes.
action of changing your state of vibration not an effect as well?
No, it does matter now, and you should do it now because what you're experiencing is a delayed consciousness. Once you begin changing your vibration, now keep doing everything you're doing, and it's naturally going to begin to reveal itself and shift itself, and you're going to see an indication that things are shifting. The same way that when you look at a car online, you start seeing it everywhere. When you start looking at shoes online, you start seeing it everywhere, etc., etc., etc.
Quick breakdown of manifesting a person back romantically. What are the steps? Apologies if you've answered this.
I've already answered this. You don't need to apologize. You can just watch it. But it's literally no different from anything that I've just said. You should literally, everything I'm giving you is a blueprint. You guys want specificities. Take the blueprint of what I'm giving you and extrapolate it to your own personal life. Because what I'd just be doing is just repeating everything that I've just said. But like you just have to, apply it to your own life.
Do you believe that using the energy of plants can help amplify the energy upon achieving your desires?
I don't know. I've never used plants to manifest.
I hear that ancestors would do certain things on certain days or
Whose
certain
ancestors?
hours.
It depends what ancestors you're talking about. Because typically, what often happens is a gross oversimplification of spirituality made by the spiritual community. I'll see white girls talking about ancestors while they're doing shamanic practices, which come from native Indians who have different ancestors. I'll see certain Africans doing ancestral work for different ancestors from different countries. Like, there's no one ancestors. Like, I need you to understand that. Like, your ancestors are going to be very specific to your lineage, and the practices of them is going to be specific to you. My ancestors aren't like AJ's ancestors. You understand what I'm saying? Even though everybody likes to oversimplify it, but that's not the case.
Thoughts about hypnosis.
Very good. I just recommended a book on it.
What do you think about psychedelics? Plus, have you tried them?
Never done psychedelics. I'm too scared.
Can you give me some books or articles on the theta state? Thanks, Nero Daddy.
Somebody's asked my opinion on hypnosis. My opinion on hypnosis is that it's very good because hypnosis, quite simply, is altering your state of consciousness to reduce your brain waves to then access parts of your subconscious to alter your experience in reality right now. It's really good. Like, and I've hypnotized one person before, my friend. I literally, hypnotized her. But there's two books. So there's The Art of Hypnosis. You best screenshot this book now and don't ask me. Say, oh, what was the book? Because I'm not gonna bring it back up. Because this, lifting up my arms like this, like I don't even know. This is man tiring. There's that one. and then the wizard within. This is the father of hypnosis. Cool. So, manifestation killers. Now we're on the side of defense. You're going to have to be defending yourself from you, your old frequency, and those around you. Manifestation killers. The first one that your mind is going to gravitate towards is, how is this going to manifest? Quite simple. It's not for you to know. It's not for me to know. Our desire to think how it's going to manifest is an instant trick that your old frequency plays on you. You'll say, how's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? Because it knows that your mind is finite. Finite is a fancy way of saying limited. Limited meaning that your mind can't conceive of all the possible ways that your desire could manifest. Sometimes things have manifested in such amazing ways that you could have never foreseen them. And because you couldn't foresee them, that means it's coming from the infinite. And the infinite is what you need to allow to be in the way. But so long as the infinite, is trying to get to you, I mean, when you say how, like I said, you're attempting your old frequency, your logic, your mind is attempting to conceptualize the ways that it could unfold, but it is finite, which means it's limited, which means it can't. So that's a trick, because then it's going to say how, and you're going to say, I don't know. And then when you say, I don't know, you start feeling self-doubt. You're like, oh, this shit, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But that's the doubt, and that's how it gets in. But you have to understand and reiterate to yourself that it's not for me. It's not for me to know, because that's not your job. It's the unlimited for it to know that. So that's just something that you can use to kind of mitigate it, which is actually a cult technique, a cult brainwashing technique called thought stopping, which is something that you can use to actually brainwash yourself with your desired reality. Yes, I've studied the psychology of cults. No, not because I wanted a cult. I actually don't want a cult. But next one is why. No, not why, sorry. When. Long time in a killer man, so we circle the ends like the letter man. Scheme hot, la shabba man apart. Shots fired every minute. When? Your mind is going to say, when's it going to manifest? And this is an indication that you have not internally shifted. This is an indication that you have not internally shifted. You have not internally shifted. Because for you to say when is an indication that you haven't manifested, because manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing your reality change. When you're good with it and you're good without it. When you're good with it and you're good without it. But if you're saying when's it going to manifest, that's an indication that you aren't not good without it. And if you're not good without it, then that should be a warning sign for you to internally experience your desired reality more. Most of you guys don't have an issue. It's just that you haven't continuously internally experienced your desired reality to such a degree that the intensity that you feel then reduces how much you want it externally. Because remember this, the more you experience it internally, the less you're going to want it externally. And when you don't want it externally, you're not going to be saying when. But if you're saying when's it going to manifest, then that's an indication that you haven't truly shifted. That means you're still looking for reality to show you signs to make you feel good. That means you place too much reliance upon reality as opposed to yourself. The reliance and the importance needs to be projected towards within instead of without. So that's the indication of that. These are the two manifestation killers, the main ones. Everything else kind of falls within these. Hey, just shoot some questions at me.
Do you recommend listen to the binary beat assist in getting into the state of relaxing to embed ideas? I don't know.
If you believe that will work for you, then it will. Quite simple. It's not about what I believe, it's about what you believe. Remember, this ain't about me, this is about you.
Someone said, if something painful happens and I initially react emotionally in sadness, then by the next day my energy changes to faith. Is that still okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. There's no issue with being emotionally swayed. Don't listen to these spiritual niggas that make it seem as if you're sad once, you're fucked, then it's game over. No. It's not about you entering a state of negativity. That's the issue. The issue is the duration to how long you're in that negative energetic state before you elevate your awareness and you realize that you are in your desired reality, because that energy builds up. That build up gains momentum. That momentum then is what solidifies the frequency into a reality. Next.
Could you give me some game you shared with GY Trades to take his trading game to the next level?
GY, that's my guy, man. Well, you have to understand that typically with traders, there's a lot of unconscious fears. The reason why I was able to do with him, and he made 7 figures in 1 week, for those of you who don't know, if you search up GY Trades on Instagram, that's my client. I can't disclose the amount that he made. But it was 7 figures in 1 week, and he was used to doing that in like every 3 months, crypto trader. And one thing that I concluded with him was that there was this unconscious fear of success, which is what happens with a lot of people. A lot of you are actually afraid of success and you don't even realize it. Because let me ask you a question. Who and what would you lose if you gained what you want? That's a bar, write that down. Would you lose your friends? Would you lose your family? How would they treat you? How would they look at you? Would you be able to relate to them? Would you be able to experience the same things as them? Would you be alone? Would you be isolated? Would you be misunderstood? All of these things play an effect. So we had to rearrange that, and that was one of the things. But yeah, shoot more.
There's a Russian guy that, huh? There was a Russian guy that nearly millions follow, telling you have to clean your house nearly every day, like wiping the floor, cleaning dishes, have order your closet, eating at home, and not restaurants, respecting your parents no matter what, and love them. Be a student to everyone in your life, every social thing,
I like that.
and then money's gonna follow to you, and all your problems gonna be solved. What do you think about that?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that's what's going to solve your money problems. I think what's going to solve your money problems is solving your money problems. But everything else, it's a certain sense of humility, seeing everybody as your teacher. That's how I see everybody that I meet. So yeah.
Nero, you mentioned the delay. What did takes, how long the
Jammed.
delay will be.
Jammed.
What dictates how long the
You
delay
good
will
there,
be.
bro.
Relax,
The
bro.
word dick is getting you
Relax.
crazy.
Bro, throw me off. How long the delay will be in seeing it in your reality?
Well, that question is you asking when. And if you were just listening to what I was saying, you're asking the wrong question. All manifestation is instant because manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. When the moment you put on the frequency, yeah, the moment you put on the frequency and you keep it on is the degree of how long it takes for it to manifest. When you take it off, you're not manifesting anymore. I hope you understand the example that I just gave. Once again, stop asking me how long is it going to take for it to manifest, because that in of itself shows that you're misunderstanding still the definition of manifestation. Hence why I keep repeating it. Manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. So then if that is the case, then you wouldn't need to see reality change, and reality changing wouldn't even matter. And until you can get to that point, it's not going to manifest.
All right, it's 3:30, but hey Nero, what are your thoughts on
There's only
medication slash
like two
therapy?
bits. There's only like two small bits left for defense. But yeah,
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts on medication slash therapy?
do it if you need it.
Someone keeps spamming this question, but it's one that we could just never understand. Could you not fuse desired realities and make it one, like identity has many parts, but it's one?
What? Say that again.
Could you not fuse desired realities and make it one, like identity has many parts, but it's one?
Yeah, technically you could, but I understand what he's saying. I'm assuming he's talking about having multiple desired realities and fusing them into one. Yes, you could, but that would just take a lot of time for you to come up with, which you're more than welcome to. What I always recommend to my clients is choosing one desired reality that has a ripple effect in every other aspect of their life that positively affects them. So for most of my clients, if they were to make the amount of money that they would want to make, they'd feel more happier, they'd feel more free. That freeness and that abundance and calm state of mind would then affect their family. They'd be able to spend more time with their family. They'd be able to spend more time with their partner. You see what I'm saying here? So choose one domino that knocks down all of them. Or if you want to do this thing where you're talking about fusing 10 different things, bro, that's up to you.
Can you please address wondering about the when, how, or why?
I already did that.
You said
When,
once.
how, or why. There is no why. You understand why. Why is everything that I've covered as a prerequisite to the multi-dimensional explanation. The how is not for you to worry about, and that's something you need to keep at the top of your mind, because your old frequency is going to ask you how. It's going to say, how are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? Because it wants you to try come up with an answer, but you can't come up with a fucking answer because our minds are finite, which means limited, which means we can't conceive of all the multitude of possibilities how our desired reality is going to materialize. So when you say it's not for me to know, you're letting go and letting God. You see how everything's tying in together. And when you let go and let God, you get out the way and allow the infinite to unfold your manifestation in an infinite amount of ways. That is what you need to do. And the when I also covered is your wrong definition of manifestation.
You once said in your YouTube videos that prayer isn't some vain repetition. Does that mean we shouldn't do this
I didn't say
level
I
of
didn't say
frequency
that
every
Christ
day or
said
every
I
hour?
didn't say that Christ said that in our Mark. But what?
Does that mean we shouldn't do this 5 level of frequency every day or every hour?
Vain repetition, remember, repetition, verbal repetition. When you speak, you're speaking on the physical plane, it's the realm of effect. What you're doing with the 5 levels of frequency isn't vain verbal repetition. It's on a higher plane of existence. So no, it's not the same.
With revision, does it change how we feel about what happened, or does it change the actual events with visible consequences in our present reality?
That's a very tricky question, especially the second part. But what I will say, it changes how you feel about the event. When you change how you feel, you change your frequency, then you change what you begin to experience. That second part might be a bit trippy. I don't have an answer.
Every time I'm meditating or falling asleep, does it count?
Yeah, it's fine.
That used to happen to me.
No, it's fine. Me too. Some days I'll wake up. My girl would walk in, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'll be like, "Meditating." I was dead asleep.
Do you have any tips or best practices or resources on meditation?
Nah, just do it. Stop trying to do resources for some shit that you can do for free right now.
Also, how do we get the replay of this? I missed half of it, unfortunately. UK time messed me up.
You'll get an email of it. You'll get an email of it in a couple of hours. You don't need to worry about that.
If someone makes their money in the field like crypto, where the market doesn't wait for one to be present, should they let that dictate their habits if opportunities can be missed during that time spent on meditation?
If you believe opportunities can be missed to begin with, then you enter a frequency where you miss opportunities. You never miss opportunity.
Struggling to balance practicality and spirituality with this.
The practicality is preceded by first the correct mentality. That's a borrow that down. Oh, I need to write that one down.
Someone said, until you feel you are steaming. So they said, until you feel you are steaming. Don't know. Everyone is you pushed out. Okay. When I speak to my mother, she reaffirms the programs I have had since childhood that I am trying to unlearn. How do I speak with her without feeling frustrated?
Well, you feel frustrated because this is actually tying into what I'm about to talk to you here. So, the second part of defense is through your correct understanding of what people are. People, no matter if it's your mother, your best friend, your partner, people are frequencies. And because people are frequencies, you're not dealing with people, you're dealing with frequencies. Simple question. Do you want the frequency of that person you're talking to? Yes or no? Then if the answer is yes, then keep interacting. Keep interacting, keep trying to convince them on what you think, keep trying to debate them, keep trying to get them to see the world the way that you do. And then guess what? You will enter their world. Do you want to enter their world? I'd assume not. So then what you need to do, keep it to yourself. That's it. It's literally that simple. People are frequencies. Do you want the frequency of the person that you're interacting with? So let's say it's your mom. Do you want to enter her frequency? Then keep interacting with her on this topic. Okay, I started. You got me. Keep interacting with her surrounding this topic that we're talking about right here. Keep trying to convince her to see the way of the world that you do. Keep trying to convince her to see things like you do, that your way is the right way. And you're going to have to enter her world to speak to her. And the truth of the matter is, once you enter her world, you set emotion for energetic momentum to build up and you experience that. The truth of the matter is you need to keep it to yourself. And you do have to understand that there's a way that you can protect yourself, because the issue is right now you lot are going raw, pause. And you're going raw because you're not understanding the basis of things. So you should do what I call the metaphysical morning. And maybe I'll turn this into a video or two. This is something that my clients also pay me for, which is the metaphysical morning. The metaphysical morning is preceded by a couple of things. So the first thing you do when you read, when you wake up, is that you read. You read a metaphysical book. I've given you niggas plenty of recommendations throughout this thing, and I'm sure you have one, so don't ask me. The second thing you do is meditate. Meditation, I'd recommend a simple silence meditation. Sit in silence for 20 minutes, set a timer on your phone. Don't argue with your thoughts, just let them flow. Do that for 20 minutes. Then reading can also be 20 minutes. It depends how much time you have, of course. Alter this to your schedule. There was one point where I used to read for 5 minutes, meditate for 5 minutes, and then visualize for 5 minutes when I was in uni because I lived far away from my uni, so I had to get up quite early. And the final thing is visualize or do the technique that you want. And this one has no timer. And if you do this first thing in the morning, what you do is something very important. You tune your frequency before the world tunes it for you. You brainwash yourself before the world brainwashes it for you. You program yourself before the world has the opportunity to program you. And I say that in reflection to those people that you love. The issue why your mom's bothering you right now is because you're probably doing damage control. You're probably going throughout your day, then trying to do your visualization or this metaphysical shit at night. That's damage control. You need to put on your armor before you go into battle. You need to put on protection before you then you need to put on protection before you go into it. Pause. You get what I'm saying here? Because the issue is a lot of people are struggling to deal with the frequencies of the world and those around them and defend their frequencies because they're trying to create their frequency after the world has just already beat them in. What you actually need to do is to tune yourself first, go out into your world, and I guarantee you'll react differently. Next.
Right. Like combine desired realities and still be one. Example, money and love.
Yeah. Yeah. Next.
Timeline question revised. If a manifestation takes long than a week, a month, etc., at what point should you realize that you need to fix your process?
You need to fix your process.
Oh,
You need that's thank you for
I get what they're saying.
revising that question. Shut up. You need to fix your process if you don't feel like you've already got your desired reality, and that doesn't need to take you a month to figure out. Remember, you're still asking me the wrong question. You're still saying at what point, how long does it take for my reality to come in before I realize something's wrong? No, that's not what manifestation is, guys. Internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. There's something wrong in your process if you need to see reality change. There's nothing wrong in your process if you don't need to see reality change.
How are you reading all these books and remembering everything?
I don't remember everything.
How can one take on or adopt a frequency they've never experienced before? Wealth, freedom. If I've never really understood what my desired reality will feel
I'll give you
like,
you don't even need to finish the question. I'll give you an example. Think about something that you've never experienced, somebody that you love, whether it's a friend, a family member. Think about them dying and they're alive. They haven't died, assuming, right? Pick somebody who hasn't died. They haven't died yet. And let me know how you feel. Because what you're going to feel is those emotions that are resonant with how you'd feel if they did die. So don't tell me that you can't experience emotions that you've never experienced before. Because every time that you're afraid of something, we're all afraid of things that have never even happened because our imagination tricks us into feeling that they've already happened because we see it with such intensity and vividness. You just need to do the same thing, just opposite. You actually have the block in your mind that you can't, which is actually stopping you from being able to do that in the first place.
Why didn't you tell me that a few months ago? The hell, bro.
Should have asked that question.
Needed that.
Should have asked that question.
Do you think reality transurfing is mandatory?
No, I think you're mandatory. Next.
When the universe test comes and you respond with faith, the manifestation will then follow. If this is a correct understanding, I told my girlfriend I'm not doubting anymore when she was giving up on our situation. Next day, I get 2 calls from job interviews. Is this the process?
I don't understand that. Is he trying to manifest his girl or jobs? Ask that question again.
That's what I was trying to. I don't know if it was the job thing or the girlfriend thing. How do I cement my desired reality? I swing between periods of extreme wealth and then extreme poverty.
How do you manifest your desired reality? He swings between
cement
because he swings between extreme wealth and extreme.
Yeah.
Well, that's simply because how do you feel in extreme wealth? Probably euphoric, amazing, elated. How do you feel in extreme poverty? Probably stressed, worried, and anxious. You need to be the exact same way how you would be in poverty as you would be in wealth, and that's how you escape the pendulum swing of the universe. The universe sees it can get you gassed and it can make you happy. So your old frequency knows anytime I want this nigga to feel too good, I can just come make it feel good. But then when I want some negative energy, whoosh, and swing you straight back. You need to be as what they speak about in the Buddhism, which is the middle path. You need to be completely neutral.
You got anything else you need to cover? There's a few more questions, but it's 3:43.
Only one more thing, really and truly, which is kind of like a two thing. But give me two more questions, and then I'll end on that. By the way, guys, if you don't get any questions, if you ask a question and I don't answer it, and then this thing cuts, then DM me on Insta. Just put workshop as a keyword on Instagram at Nero Knowledge. Put workshop as the first word. So when I check my IG, I'll see that keyword and then I'll just start answering whatever questions you have left.
How can I stop?
Because I don't know if this shit's gonna turn up or not.
How can I stop being obsessed with somebody bothering me?
How can I stop being obsessed with somebody bothering me? You sound obsessed. How can I stop being obsessed with somebody bothering me? I don't understand that. Hold on, give me a second. How can I stop being obsessed with someone bothering me? You have to ask yourself, what is it about this particular individual in the way that they're treating you that is triggering you internally? Because what they're triggering is something that's already within you. So look for that and then seek to remove it from yourself. And then when they try to do their bullshit, it's not going to work.
How do we tap into / discover our unconscious fears? How did you do it?
Say that again.
How do we tap into / discover our unconscious fears? How did you do it?
What I recommend to my clients is get yourself into a meditative state and understand that most of our unconscious fears arise from childhood, but we grow up and experience so many things that we forget about them. So I always say, get into a meditative state and then imagine the childhood version of you in front of you. Literally see them in front of you and ask them what they're afraid of. Keep following that.
Can you give one example of how you changed GY Trade's crypto trader fear of success? I face the same issue.
See, it's very specific. It's very, very specific. And I don't want to put his business out there. So just DM me on Instagram because that's a bit personal. I can't be talking about my clients' psychological issues in depth. But you have to understand the fear of success. If you want to simply cut a fear of success, you just need to be willing to be the one. So in a sense, there's social contracts that we sign up for that is kind of parasitic in a sense that we sign up for people's approval and love, but we stay at one level. You need to be willing to detach yourself from that. I had to get him to be calm with being unrelatable. I had to get him calm with being unrecognizable. I had to get him calm with not feeling out of place or feeling out of place. Next.
If action is effect, then doesn't changing your state of vibration become an effect since I'm doing it now?
What?
If action is effect, then doesn't changing your state of vibrations become an effect since I'm doing it now?
Of course, it will become an effect because changing your vibration is associated with changing yourself on the mental plane, which is cause. So, of course, that cause will lead to an effect. Next.
I've done the revision thing with tapping into trauma and changing the situation to show what you wish could happen. If one feels guilty or like they're lying to themselves doing this, should they stop or continue until it doesn't feel like that?
I feel like you're lying to yourself. If you feel like you're lying to yourself, that means your logical brain, your left hemisphere is too awake, which means that you're attempting to do these techniques while your brain isn't in theta. You're not relaxed enough because once you trigger your mind into theta, brainwave state, which is 4 to 8 hertz, your mind becomes less logical. Imagination starts to take place. Your dreams aren't logical. That's why you experience them because you're in an alpha theta state. If you are trying to visualize some shit and your mind feels like it's lying to yourself, that means you're not relaxed enough. You're probably as wide awake as I am right now, which means your brain's operating from beta and your left hemisphere is active. So it's saying na 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 and rejecting it. So you actually just need to immerse yourself deep into a more meditative state.
Have you explored lucid dreaming to go into your subconscious?
No, I've only ever lucid dreamed that once. Next.
Faith, as the faith levels up, I'm feeling that I'm commanding things more when I talk. Is that a form of this process as well? Like when Jesus commanded the tree not to bear fruit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Is this the next level of manifestation?
In a sense, yes.
Someone said, when's your birthday?
Next question.
Can you repeat what you
May
said?
16th. May 16th.
Can you repeat what you said to write down again?
What? I don't even know how far back that is. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. You're
same.
gonna have to catch that in the recording.
Do you think shit like popcorn jerking off or casual sex fucks your
Popcorn jerking off.
no, no shit. Do you think shit like porn, jerking off, casual sex fucks with your psychology like so many people make it out to be on the internet?
You know it fucks with your psychology. It doesn't necessarily have to fuck up your manifestations, though.
What thought
I
loop?
recommend looking into sexual kung fu. Get a book by Mantak Chia called Sexual Kung Fu. I do recommend reading it. It doesn't necessarily have to fuck up your manifestations, but in a sense, let's say that you are overly sexually active and that's something that you don't want to be anymore. Every time you do that, you're depleting your amount of self-trust because you said, I'm not going to do that. And when you do it, you're decreasing your self-trust, which means you're depleting your confidence, you're depleting your conviction, so you deplete your manifestation. Is the actual act of casual sex or jerking off affecting shit? No, it's more so the um underlying thing that it represents.
What thought what thought loop helped you become a spiritual teacher?
I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm a spiritual student who just talks this shit online. Next.
What if you do night shifts as work? How do you tune your world before the world tunes it for you?
Before you leave your house, do the shit that I said. It doesn't matter if it's nighttime, doesn't matter if it's daytime.
About the morning routine, wasn't it first praying or it changed?
No, no, it doesn't particularly matter. All that matters is that you're doing those acts. The order doesn't matter. You can meditate you can meditate if you want first, you can read if you want first, you can visualize if you want after. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're doing those things because those things are going to calibrate your frequency before the world has the opportunity to do so. Next.
How to recharge subconscious mind.
Recharge subconscious mind. As if you knew I were laughing. But recharging your subconscious mind is simply a process of doing what I said in the process where I told you about the technique that I give to my clients. So creating an emotional internal experience that is intense and vivid, that you actually begin to feel it and your mind can't distinguish if this is imagination or reality because you're triggering your senses. And then once you do that, you're naturally going to increase the amount of emotional charge into your subconscious and deplete the amount that you want it externally in reality.
Nero, is gratitude really the secret sauce to changing one's mindset?
No, you are the secret sauce to changing one's mindset. Gratitude is good for it.
Oh my gosh, we're reaching the bottom. Question re-asked. When the universe test comes to you and you respond with faith, the manifestation will then follow. Is this a correct understanding?
Yes, I already answered that. That's already correct.
I told you my girlfriend. I told my girlfriend I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting about the financial instability in our situation anymore with strong conviction when she was giving up on our situation. Next day, I get 2 calls from job interviews. Is this the process?
Yeah, you're doing it right. I already told you that. You got it, my guy. Well done.
Is it better to remember our past for motivation, or will I be creating a future of that because of my attention will be focused on that?
Second answer, your attention will be focused on that. So you're concentrating. Your concentration alters your vibration. Your vibration becomes a frequency, which becomes a reality. So if you are going to look back to your past, let it not be focusing on experiences that were particularly negative and things that you wouldn't want to experience. If you're reminiscing on a past that represents a degree of positivity, then that's what you need to centralize on to bring some of that frequency into your current reality.
Do you have a resource on getting on the middle path?
No, not really. Sorry.
Latest question just popped in now. How important is intention?
Not as much as the spiritual niggas make it out to be. You don't need to set an intention every day. Intention is just being conscious. So being conscious is good, but the actual act of setting an intention is something that's grossly not only oversimplified but also exaggerated in terms of its importance. What's important is about you attaining yourself across the 5 levels that I spoke about earlier and being conscious. So in a sense, it is important, but not the when it set intentions, as people say. So to wrap up, so we actually got to the bottom.
Yeah.
You're telling me I did hundreds of questions.
There was actually 146, but some were repeats. So let's just call it 110 or something.
That's not 110. Are you mad? That's like 130. There was like 16 repeats, 15 at the max. You're telling me I did 130 questions? Guys, I literally feel like I'm gonna drop. But we actually done it. We actually done it. We actually done it. Wow. So the final part about defense. So once I told you the manifestation killers, and one of the other manifestation killers that I forgot to emphasize on is importance. If you feel like somebody mentioned earlier, that needy feeling or that desperate desire to see your desired reality, if you're in that particular state, then what you're actually going to do is repel yourself from your desired reality. Because here's the thing, importance is interpreted as in the universe as energetic space. The bigger the importance, the bigger the space. The bigger the importance, the bigger space in between you and your desired reality. They are over here, you over here. More often than not, it's importance that lays in between you. Once you have the ability to collapse the importance, and you collapse the space and your desired reality, and you merge into one. How do I collapse importance, Nero? It's about doing everything that I mentioned earlier about internally, intensely, and vividly experiencing your desired reality within to such a degree and such an intensity that you generate an emotional charge, because that emotional charge is the language of the subconscious mind, and that belief that you're visualizing or that scene that you're visualizing is going to enter the subconscious mind, and the more that you experience it within, the less you're going to need it without. That's how you kill importance. Now the final part that I actually just want to say before we wrap up here is maintaining your frequency is the most important thing. And the way that you're going to maintain your frequency, guys, is by keeping everything that we spoke about today top of mind. And what I mean by that is this. What often happens is that we go through this third dimensional realm. Like we're all here right now, you're watching this recording or you're watching it live right now. We're all here right now. Everybody feels fucking like Buddha. You go out into the world 2 days later, you get caught up in the same bullshit. I need you to keep this stuff top of mind. I need you to either watch this recording every day, make your notes, or just look through your notes every day. Do the metaphysical morning. Completely make sure that you're immersing yourself in your ability to see yourself from a high frequency in your desired reality as much as possible. Because the world will want you to forget this stuff. And you'll end up thinking to yourself, yeah, I messed up there. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have thought like this. I shouldn't have been moving like that. Because you forget, and that's normal. And I don't want you to beat yourself up about that. It's normal. It's so normal to end up slipping back into, even me. I know you niggas think like I walk on, you know what I'm saying? Like I can fly and stuff like that. But trust me, I get caught up in the world too. So the thing that helps me is that because I'm constantly reading and watching videos and immersing myself, I keep this stuff top of mind. So maintaining my frequency is easy because I have a constant reminder of things that keep me aligned. So the notes that you make today are going to be the blueprint to lead to your desired reality. Um, there's 3 minutes left.
Few more questions just came in.
Cool.
Do you still have questions about the universe / manifesting that you haven't been able to answer or understand despite all your knowledge?
No, not about manifestation, about other stuff.
What are your thoughts on telling others / introducing others to manifesting? I'm often met with, you are being delusional, or met with so many questions, but I definitely want to surround myself with those that also know about manifesting and would love to help my loved ones as well.
You'll end up naturally coming across people who are on your frequency so long as you maintain it. You'll come across people that are on your frequency. As far as getting other people into it, you can do what I do. Try send them a book or a video. If they watch it, they do. If they don't, then they're not supposed to. Simple. By the way, guys, I actually do want to let you guys know something, and you're going to be the first people to know this.
Oh, Jesus, more questions.
More? How many more?
4 just came in.
Give me the questions.
How can I get to sing one of my R&B songs on one of your videos? Would you charge me?
Send a video on Insta, and me and Angel Seif will approve for a video.
Say less.
Yep. Next.
Can you share a link to the music you play in the background of your YouTube videos or a similar tune? It's very relaxing. I would love to play it while manifesting.
Maybe.
What are a few new things you
It's
have?
called Rumination by Bandit. Rumination by Bandit. Rumination by Bandit. Next.
But you actually know the name of it. So.
Yeah.
What are a few new things you have learned and applied in your life recently while teaching the subjects you teach?
My bank account isn't mine. It doesn't belong to me. I own nothing. And because I own nothing, I could never lose anything. So why would I ever have to worry about losing money or money going down or not having enough money because it doesn't belong to me and I'm always going to be sustained by the infinite intelligence so long as I have the capability of aligning myself through conviction, relaxation, serene confidence, and making sure that my 5 levels are all in line and making sure that I'm aligned on the mental plane, the spiritual plane, and physical plane, and making sure that I'm not caught up by the manifestation killers, importance, why, and importance, when, and how, and then also making sure that I'm not being caught up by importance and I'm maintaining my frequency by keeping this stuff top of mind and making sure that this is a practice turned into a lifestyle. This is not a practice, this is a lifestyle. And in case this ends in 2 minutes, guys, it was a pleasure. I can't believe we got through all the questions. I thought we'd have bare. If you have any questions that maybe are gonna come to the top of your head, shoot me a message on IG saying workshop at the top, and I'll answer this question.
Someone said, "What questions do you have about the universe?" Then
I don't have enough time to tell you about them, but it'd be to do with the stuff like the Law of One. If you've ever heard of that book, it'd be to do stuff like that.
someone said, "What about the second workshop?"
Second workshop might be next month.
And they also, so Andrea said, "Thank you, Nero and AJ. Love you both."
Pleasure, considering I was the person that said that they want their money's worth and they don't want tomfoolery. So I'm assuming that's a good thing. Thank you very much. I remember the name, of course.
Will you be doing a subconscious mind video?
Oh, talking too loud there, mate. Talking too loud there, mate. I want to see if this ends.
Everyone's saying thank you.
Guys,
Thank you all.
it was a pleasure. My brain feels like it's had an orgasm, like quite literally.
Nothing's popping up, so maybe we'll announcements.
Oh, yes, yes. The announcement, my glasses are half on, is that I'm writing a book. So see that soon. Yo, that was hilarious.
That's it.
That is hilarious. Yeah, yeah, I'm writing a book, guys. I'm just watching the screen just to see if it's gonna end or not.
I'm going to buy your book. Instantly bought. Big Daddy Nero. Sign it for me, Daddy.